Chapter 275. He was still waiting. He waited for 3 days but Ning Fan was still nowhere to be seen. Lu Daochun's eyes finally showed a hint of worry. Based on his understanding of Ning Fan, he wouldn't be late since he said he would come. However, he had waited for 3 more days and Ning Fan was still nowhere to be seen. He was afraid that he was held back by something. Could it be that he reached the bottleneck right before the battle and officially broke through to the divine transformation realm? Lu Daochun smiled bitterly. This was definitely a possibility. Without the appearance of the heavenly tribulation, he naturally didn't know that Ning Fan had successfully broken through to the divine transformation realm. However, he guessed that something must have happened since Ning Fan couldn't participate in the first round of selection. Imperial concubine Zi and Chu Shun became impatient. They had given Lu Daochun enough face by waiting for 3 more days. Since Liu Bei didn't show up, there was no point in waiting any longer. Lu Daochun, if you don't start the battle now, it will be cancelled. I'm going to use force to sweep through the Luoyun sect and seize the map. Imperial concubine Zi's eyes darkened and her tone was threatening. That's right. A mere nascent soul realm ant is wasting too much time. Chu Shun's tone was cold. The words of the 2-peak divine transformation realm experts in the Luoyun sect were immediately echoed by many experts on the scene. Lu Daochun gritted his teeth. The situation was pressing. The wisest decision was to immediately announce the start of the first round to ease the tension between the parties. However, if Ning Fan doesn't participate, that person would definitely lose his spot. His years of waiting would be in vain. What's the point of doing all this? Lu Daochun did not give in. For a moment, the cloud platform was filled with the atmosphere of war. At this critical moment, a cold voice resounded. I have a compromise. I wonder if everyone is willing to listen to it. The voice of the person who spoke was not loud. However, the moment his voice resounded, the sea of consciousness of all the cultivators below the mid-divine transformation realm trembled. Their ears buzzed and the sound lingered for a long time. Countless demon cultivators' expressions changed and they all looked at the person who spoke. How could an ordinary person have such means? That direction was where the seats of the Pure Fire Division were located. A silver-robed, white-haired demon general stood proudly. His late divine transformation realm aura surged around him. I am the demon general of the Ice Owl clan, Wang Xiao. I have a suggestion and I hope everyone will listen to it. His words were decisive, not giving anyone the chance to refute him at all. However, with his status, he had the qualifications to say these words. What? This person is the leader of the 10 generals that descended from the higher realm this time, from the true spirit realm's Ice Owl clan, General Wang Xiao. What does he suggest? The sounds of discussion rose, but after Lu Daochun coughed, it slowly quieted down. Lu Daochun frowned as he looked at Wang Xiao, wondering what kind of tricks this person was playing. I wonder if General Wang has any suggestions. I have seen all of your arguments. The crux of the dispute is merely Liu Bei. It's understandable that Yun Jiang wants Liu Bei to participate in the arena battle. However, it's impossible for us, 100,000 demon race members, to continue waiting bitterly for a mere nascent soul realm cultivator like Liu Bei. Therefore, I have a suggestion that I hope Yun Jiang will listen to. Wang Xiao's tone was overbearing, causing Lu Daochun to frown. What suggestion? Liu Bei himself can't come, but he can let his wife and children fight on his behalf. The demon ancestor has taught us that if this demon breaks the law, his wife and children can make up for it. Similarly, since this Liu Bei can't come, he can let his relatives participate in the competition on his behalf. When he himself arrives, they can replace his relatives to fight on his behalf. In this way, we won't have to wait bitterly. Wang Xiao's words made many demons secretly nod their heads. There was indeed such a tradition in the demon race. For a moment, voices of agreement could be heard. What General Wang said is right. We have already given Luo Yun enough face by waiting for Liu Bei here for 3 days. Since Liu Bei can't come, let his relatives fight on his behalf. Hurry up and start the first round of the selection. Don't waste any more time. Who is Liu Bei's relative? Step forward now. Otherwise, Liu Bei's qualification to participate in the competition will be taken away. Many demons from the Luo Yun clan also agreed with Wang Zhao's suggestion. However, no one stepped forward to participate in the competition on Ning Fan's behalf. Only a few demons who knew about the decline of Liu Bei's clan knew that Liu Bei did not have any wife or children. Lu Daochun's brows were tightly knitted together. Wang Zhao's sudden suggestion seemed to be trying to mediate the conflict between the two parties. However, it seemed like he was secretly plotting something. However, Lu Daochun did not have the time to think through Wang Zhao's intentions at all. Because after the suggestion was made, even Imperial concubine Zi agreed with it. Chu Shun was the only one who gave Wang Zhao a deep look. There was no joy or anger in his eyes. There was only disdain. This Wang Zhao has an impetuous mental state. It's difficult for him to become an expert. My status is not as good as his. However, when I ascend to the heavenly demon world in the future, I will be qualified to compete with the elites of the upper world. However, those elites will not include people like Wang Zhao. Chu Shun had the pride of being undefeatable in 1,000 battles. He was the son of the demon sovereign of the lower world. Along the way, he had continuously challenged experts. He stepped on skeletons and climbed towards a higher goal. He was arrogant, powerful and condescending. He looked down on Wang Zhao and Liu Bei. Even in this place of slumber, there was not a single person who could make him look sideways. Your Highness, this Wang Zhao seems to be a little restless. I wonder what his suggestion is. Should we reject him? A divine transformation realm servant of the demon world transmitted his voice to His Highness. No need. No matter what Wang Zhao's purpose is or who he wants to target, there is nothing to worry about. Besides, this suggestion is indeed not bad. Let Liu Bei's relative fight on his behalf. It will save us a lot of time. But I heard that Liu Bei doesn't have any relatives. He doesn't have any relatives. What does it have to do with me? Chu Shun suddenly stood up and released his aura. It was as if he was going to snatch the world map by force if they did not start the selection. This was a threat. He was forcing Lu Daochun to submit. Lu Daochun heaved a long sigh. Although Wang Zhao's suggestion was good, Liu Bei didn't have any relatives to fight on his behalf. Teacher, don't worry. Liu Bei has a wife, Lu Wan, who was dressed in purple, walked towards Lu Daochun gracefully. A fragrant wind blew. Ah. Are you talking about the 2 gold core realm demon maids that he left in the general's mansion? Let them fight on his behalf. Lu Daochun shook his head helplessly. The wind lady and the tea lady were not strong enough. It was useless for them to go. No. Their cultivation is not strong enough. I, Lu Wan, am strong enough. I am Liu Bei's wife. Lu Wan, smiled and stepped on the sky. A pair of charming purple flame phoenix wings appeared on her back. Lotus flowers bloomed with every step she took. A fragrant wind blew and purple flames burned. Her appearance was alluring to begin with, but after activating the phoenix wings' spiritual outfit, she had an otherworldly temperament, causing the hearts of the beast cultivators who saw her appearance to thump. What a beautiful woman! She was like a phoenix immortal who had fallen to the mortal world. She was obviously noble, but she also had the deep affection of a fox immortal. It was a kind of contradictory beauty. Her face was young and tender, but she had the temperament of a ripe peach. She was as cold as ice, but there was a flame of passion hidden in her heart. She looked down on all men, but there was always a figure hidden in her heart. Liu Bei has a wife. I, Lu Wan, am his wife. I am willing to represent him in the first round of the selection. The aura of a late nascent soul realm expert slowly spread out. The phoenix wings of a peak Earth profound realm expert made countless experts' eyes burn with passion. Even Chu Shun and imperial concubine Zi were stunned. It was difficult for them to obtain such high-quality spiritual equipment. With the phoenix wings on this woman's body, not even a spirit-severing realm expert could hurt her. Only the Earth General of the Lai Tu tribe's eyes were filled with anger. With just a glance, he could tell that the phoenix wings belonged to his subordinate, Su Ri. Su Ri was killed by Liu Bei and the wings were given to his beloved wife to use as spiritual equipment. He, what a romantic Liu Bei. He deserves to die. Lu Wan did not know that she had attracted the attention and admiration of many men at this moment. She also did not know how many people were drooling over her phoenix wings' spiritual armor and her body. She also did not know if there were people who hated her in the dark and wanted to plot against her. Lu Wan also did not know that when she said, "I am Liu Bei's wife," countless men were envious of Ning Fan's luck with women. With such a wife, what else can a man ask for? She did not care about it. She felt a little shy. After all, it was her first time admitting that she was Liu Bei's wife in front of 100,000 demon cultivators. The women of the demon race were always bold. However, Lu Wan seemed to be too bold. Lu Xing shook his head with a smile. Since his sister was so deeply in love with Liu Bei, he certainly would not stop her. The only thing he was worried about was whether Lu Wan would be in danger if she represented Ning Fan in the selection. There were only 55 slots for nascent soul realm cultivators to compete for. However, there were many peak nascent soul realm cultivators present. With the phoenix wings spiritual armor which was at the peak profound earth realm, Lu Wan's speed was comparable to a divine transformation realm cultivator. Thus, her life would not be in any danger. However, she was still a late nascent soul realm cultivator. Her speed did not mean that her attacks were strong. It was still unknown whether she could seize the clouds and enter the spirit ascension platform from a peak nascent soul realm cultivator. However, Lu Daochen felt relieved. When his gaze fell upon the phoenix wings, his face immediately revealed a gratified, regretful and ashamed expression. What a good pair of phoenix wings! These phoenix wings actually have the ability to attack, defend and escape in one. Even I can't refine such a pair of phoenix wings. With this pair of wings, Wan can even slightly resist a divine transformation realm cultivator and protect herself. With the help of the other 7 divine transformation realm cultivators of my Luoyun sect, it won't be difficult for Wan's spiritual platform to advance to the purple rank. Lu Daochen secretly gave an order to the 7 Luoyun demon generals, agreeing to Lu Wan's words and actions. With this pair of wings, she could compete for the slots. In this way, even though Ning Fan was late, his slot was preserved. At the center of the venue, 25600 white rank spiritual platforms were floating in the sky like floating clouds. Each of the demon cultivators was eager to have a go. The first round of selection was finally going to begin. As soon as Lu Daochen gives the order to begin, all the demon cultivators would move to the center of the venue at their fastest speed and choose a white rank spiritual platform to get on. After the first round begins, only the 25,600 demon cultivators with the fastest speed would be able to snatch a white rank spiritual platform. The rest of them would be eliminated. Begin. Lu Daochen's voice echoed across 10,000 li. At the same time, he turned into a wisp of green smoke and flew towards the sky of the venue. At this moment, 100,000 rays of light rushed towards the center of the venue. The divine transformation realm cultivators teleported 10,000 li in just a split second. Each of them occupied a direction and set foot on a spiritual platform. Among the 145 divine transformation realm rays of light, Lu Wan turned into a wisp of purple smoke. She was not any weaker than the others and also managed to snatch a white rank spiritual platform. Inwardly, she was delighted. As long as she has the phoenix wings, she would certainly be able to help Ning Fan keep his slot. However, there was one thing that she did not tell anyone. This phoenix wings spiritual equipment was indeed powerful. It could be said to be the pinnacle of Lu Wan'er's work in life. However, it was precisely because of how powerful it was that she could not completely refine this pair of wings by herself. She had been waiting for Ning Fan to help her refine this pair of wings. However, before Ning Fan came out from his seclusion, she had no choice but to use this pair of wings to help Ning Fan keep his slot. She felt a sharp pain in her heart and her face turned pale. No one knew how painful it was to forcefully activate the phoenix wings. She did not care about it. Her current identity was Ning Fan's wife. She did not know how much pain Ning Fan had suffered along the way. However, she knew that if she could not bear the pain, she would not be worthy to be Ning Fan's woman. 1 breath, 2 breaths. 10 breaths passed. Each of the 25,600 spiritual platforms was occupied by a demon cultivator. Among them, there were 145 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators, 1900 Peak Nascent Soul Realm cultivators, and the rest were all Late Nascent Soul Realm cultivators. After all the spiritual platforms were occupied, a light screen that stretched for 5,000 li rose from the center of the venue, enveloping the entire venue. At the moment when the formation light rose, all the demon cultivators who did not have a spiritual platform were teleported out of the venue. One after another, the demon cultivators were teleported out of the venue with their faces covered in dirt. They were speechless when they saw the formation light. There were even some who were unwilling to accept the fact that their spiritual platforms were seized by someone else due to a moment of carelessness. They wanted to break the formation light and rush into the venue to seize their platforms again. However, every single attack that landed on the formation light was easily blocked. No nascent soul realm attack could shake the formation light. Even a late spirit severing realm attack could not completely destroy the formation light. A mortal void grade formation. This Lu Daochen has actually set up such a terrifying formation on the cloud platform. For the first time, Chu Shun's expression changed. He began to take Lu Daochen seriously. This person's cultivation base was not worth mentioning, but his Tao of formation technique was far beyond his imagination. Rumor has it that this person is extremely knowledgeable in formations, pill refinement, divination, spirit augmentation, weapon refinement, and many other aspects. Today, Chu Shun realized that it was indeed true. No wonder the Spirit King Palace took a fancy to this person. I've underestimated him before. When the formation light rose, it was another signal. The battle for the spiritual platforms has begun. Next, the 25,600 cultivators would have to fight each other in a chaotic battle. In the end, only 200 of them would be able to obtain a purple-grade spiritual platform. Almost at the same time when the formation light rose, each of the demon cultivators stepped on the floating platform and launched their attacks at their opponents. Outside the cloud platform, a white-robed silhouette appeared with a flash of light smoke. It did not alarm anyone. Looking at the chaotic battle at the center of the cloud platform, he smiled bitterly. I didn't expect that after comprehending the parting sun spear, I would unexpectedly activate the true yang energy, causing half of my Yin fusion divine star to gradually reach perfection. That's why I couldn't make it to the first round of the assessment. Now, it seems like Wan Er is taking my place. The corner of the young man's mouth curved into a smile. His heart felt warm. Lu Wan Er was really good to him. After witnessing Lu Wan Er's tyrannical means, he felt slightly relieved. That Fire Phoenix spiritual equipment was not as simple as flying. It was a combination of attack, defense, and escape. Its speed was so fast that it could activate the fire barrier to defend itself and the sea of fire to attack its enemies. Under that sea of fire, even a few peak nascent soul realm cultivators were defeated. I haven't seen you for 11 years. Wan Er's strength has improved. Ning Fan smiled. However, his eyes suddenly turned solemn. The wind blew. This wind made people feel uneasy. In the wind, a silver-armored demon general peeked at Lu Wan Er. That glance contained killing intent. But at the next moment, his eyes were as calm as before. That person seems to be the demon general from the upper world that Wang Shao brought here. That killing intent. Was it an illusion? Ning Fan frowned. Chapter 276. Countless cultivators were forcefully teleported out of the battlefield by the formation light because they were defeated and their spiritual platforms were seized. After 157 breaths of time, the first purple-grade spiritual platform appeared. Wang Xiao stepped on the purple-grade spiritual platform and left the formation proudly. He returned to the outside of the battlefield. The purple spiritual platform under his feet was a sign of his astonishing strength. 157 breaths of time to condense a purple-grade spiritual platform. This undoubtedly meant that apart from Chu Shun and Imperial Concubine Zi, he was the strongest cultivator on the battlefield. He took a step forward and the spiritual platform shattered into purple qi, which was then absorbed into his stomach. After refining it, his eyes immediately widened and he murmured in surprise. This purple qi is quite extraordinary. It's almost comparable to a 5 revolutions blood awakening pill. Wang Xiao felt that this purple qi was indeed extraordinary. It was enough to increase the grade of his bloodline. Unfortunately, he had already awakened his blood 3 times. Half of the purple qi's effect was wasted. A purple-grade spiritual platform is only effective on demons that have awakened their blood twice. If that's the case, there's no need for Zhu Qin to kill people and seize their spiritual platforms. I'll just let him kill Lu Wan. I'll take revenge on Liu Bei's wife first. I wonder how Liu Bei would feel if he knew that his wife died today. After Wang Xiao, Imperial Concubine Yao, Lu Jiefan, and the other late Divine Transformation Realm cultivators also stepped onto the purple spiritual platforms. After 300 breaths of time, 144 of the 145 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators had successfully broken through and left the battlefield. There were less than 800 people still fighting inside the formation light. The weakest among them was a yellow-grade spiritual platform while the most had already broken through to the blue-grade. Lu Wan stepped on the blue-grade spiritual platform and used her phoenix wings to control the purple flames to fight against a great cultivator for the blue-grade spiritual platform. Once she succeeded, she would be able to break through to the blue-grade. The purple phoenix fire wings of a peak earth profound realm cultivator could borrow the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to send out waves of fire. Under the sweeping of the fire waves, the great cultivator was struggling to resist with his magical treasures. His strength was exhausted and several of his magical treasures were destroyed by the purple flames. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated. The tyrannical power of the phoenix wings made the great cultivator feel bitter. In the end, he was finally struck down by a wave of fire. He sighed inwardly and jumped off the spiritual platform to admit his defeat. He was then sent out safely by the formation light. Lu Wan's complexion was pale. She gently wiped away the sweat on her temples and changed her hand seals. She activated the 2 blue-grade spirit platforms and fused them into a blue-grade spirit platform. Her mouth curved into a smile. As long as I fight for a blue-grade spirit platform in the last battle, I will be able to advance to the purple grade. Blue-grade. Where is it? Lu Wanner's beautiful eyes scanned the area. Apart from herself, there were already 7 blue-grade spirit platform holders present. 6 of them were grand cultivators, and 4 of them had vast auras. Lu Wanner knew that she didn't have much chance of winning even with her phoenix wings, but the other 2 were nothing to worry about. She could win. However, the 7th one with a blue spirit platform was a soul formation cultivator in silver armor. After Lu Wanner condensed a blue-grade spirit platform, the spirit-severing realm cultivator sneered. Lu Wanner was very curious. A soul formation cultivator's cultivation base was very strong, so why hadn't he condensed the purple grade and left after so much time had passed? Divine Transformation Realm. What is he waiting for? I remember that this Divine Transformation Realm expert is called Zhu Qin. He is a demon general from the upper realm. Outside the venue, Lu Daochun's gaze became sharper and sharper. Out of the 145 soul formation cultivators, only 144 had left the battlefield. There was still one person who had yet to come out. It wasn't because he couldn't seize the spirit platform, but because he was waiting for something. That person was Wang Xiao's general, Zhu Qin. General Wang Xiao, why did your subordinate, Zhu Qin, stop attacking after his spiritual platform rose to the blue grade? What's his purpose in staying in the formation light? Could it be General Wang Xiao's idea? Lu Daochen felt somewhat uneasy as the wind blew. I don't know. He probably wants to kill someone. Wang Xiao sneered. Kill someone? Lu Daochen's heart skipped a beat as if he had thought of something. At this moment, Zhu Qin made his move. Like a raging wave, a silver light flashed. No one could see how he made his move, but the silver light had already eliminated 7 grand cultivators with blue-grade spirit platforms. The expressions of the 7 grand cultivators' demon nascent souls changed drastically. They hurriedly jumped down from the spirit platform and teleported away. How ruthless! After the 7 of them left, the 7 blue-grade spirit platforms floated quietly in the air. However, Zhu Qin didn't even look at the spirit platforms, as if he didn't care about the purple-grade spirit platform. He stepped on the spirit platform and stared at Lu Wanner coldly. You finally reached the blue-grade spirit platform. I've been waiting for you for a long time. The moment he stepped on the spirit platform, his demon chi turned into a silver crane that stood in the sky. Under the cry of the crane, countless silver cracks appeared on the surface of the crane. The cracks spread out in all directions with the force of a strong wind. They quickly spread out and pierced through the sky. Any nascent soul realm cultivator who was caught in the silver light would be torn apart by the silver lines. Their physical bodies would immediately be torn apart. Their armors would be shattered and their supreme-grade magical treasures would be destroyed. Each of the demon nascent souls revealed a terrified expression and jumped down from the spirit platforms. They no longer cared about the first round of the selection and left the battlefield under the protection of the formation light. Terrifying. It's too terrifying. A spirit-severing realm demon general's means were unparalleled. There were even a few nascent soul realm demons who lost their physical bodies. They couldn't escape from their demon nascent souls in time and were immediately buried in the silver light. This demon general Zhu Qin was extremely daring. He ignored the rules of the battle and wanted to kill someone. Not good. Let's run away quickly. One after another, the old monsters fled. Zhu Qin didn't even look at the others. His eyes were only fixed on Lu Wanner. The silver light in his palm became even brighter. The innate ability of the Silver Crane clan, Apprehensive Wind and Crane. Zhu Qin burst into laughter. With a claw of his hand, all the silver lines turned around and swept towards Lu Wanner. Pieces of the sky were torn into pieces. The spirit platforms were shattered. General Zhu Qin, what do you mean by this? Lu Wanner's beautiful eyes turned cold. Liu Bei killed a demon general of the upper world. You're his wife. You should die in his place. What? Lu Wanner was shocked. This divine transformation realm demon general actually dared to kill her in public. How dare you? The expressions of Lu Daochen, Lu Sheng, and Yao Fei changed. They attacked at the same time, but the combined strength of the 3 of them couldn't break the formation light. Lu Daochen's expression changed drastically. Once this mortal void grand formation was activated, even he wouldn't be able to break it unless the first round of selection was over. Lu Wanner couldn't be saved from the outside world. Could it be that he had to watch his proudest disciple die in front of him? Zhu Qin. If you dare to hurt my disciple, even if you're from the Silver Crane clan and the Ice Owl clan of the true spirit realm, you will still die. Lu Daochen's angry roar couldn't shake Zhu Qin's determination at all. He had received Wang Zhao's order to kill an ant from the lower world. What was there to worry about? Lu Wanner's expression changed. She crazily activated her phoenix wings, pushing the power of them to the maximum. At this moment, Lu Wanner was obviously a member of the Fox clan, but she actually condensed the shadow of a purple phoenix. Her face quickly turned pale while the shadow of the purple phoenix became more and more solid. She formed a series of hand seals with difficulty and spat out an illusory purple flame from her mouth. The purple flame was obviously illusory, but when it burned, it actually burned the silver lines of Zhu Qin's divine transformation realm attack into nothingness. Zhu Qin's expression changed. He had never expected that his innate ability and all-out attack would be blocked by a late divine transformation realm woman. The expressions of Lu Daochen and the others eased. They couldn't break the formation light, but as long as Lu Wanner gives up on the selection and jumps down from the platform, she would be protected by the formation light and teleported out safely. Lu Daochen would help her vent her anger after that. However, Lu Wanner did not jump down from the platform. She did not run away, her gaze fell on the blue-grade spiritual platform in the distance. She bit her lips and flew towards it with all her might. She can't run away. She can't. She represents Ning Fan. At this moment, she is Ning Fan's wife. As long as she fuses with the blue-grade spiritual platform faster than Zhu Qin and ascends to the purple grade, she would be able to leave with the purple-grade spiritual platform. By doing so, she would be able to preserve Ning Fan's qualification. She flapped her phoenix wings and flew towards the blue-grade spiritual platform, which was 1,000 zhang away. When Lu Daochen and the others saw this scene, all of them were dumbfounded. Silly girl. What a silly girl. Why do you still care about the purple-grade spiritual platform at this moment? Yes, she is a silly girl. If she wasn't a silly girl, how would she fall in love with a member of a foreign race? She wanted to give it her all. She was not sure if the other party wanted to destroy Ning Fan's qualification. In any case, she wanted to preserve Ning Fan's qualification. She was getting closer and closer. She was only 100 zhang away from the lonely blue-grade spiritual platform. However, at this moment, a ray of silver light suddenly shot out and blocked her way. I didn't expect you to be able to use the ability of the Phoenix clan with the bloodline of the Fox clan. However, it seems like you're barely able to use this technique. I'm afraid you won't be able to use it again. Humph. If you had taken the opportunity to run away just now, it would have been fine. However, you chose not to run away. Aren't you looking down on me? Do you really think that I can't kill you? Zhu Qin's eyes seemed to have turned into pure silver. The shadow of the silver crane behind him grew twice its size. The power of the silver threads on his fingertips increased by more than 2 folds. It was enough to crush ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators. You can die now. No one can save you. If you want to blame someone, blame your husband. Liu Bei. Zhu Qin's eyes were cold. He was not worried that someone would save Lu Wanner. The power of the formation light was so strong that even a late divine transformation realm demon concubine could not break it. Naturally, no one could enter this place and save Lu Wanner. He was careless just now and this lady happened to block his attack. He would never have the chance to do so again. Lu Wanner must die this time. Zhu Qin firmly believed in it. However, this firm belief turned into disbelief at the next moment. A trace of fear emerged in their hearts without any warning. At the same time, this kind of feeling swept across the 100,000 demon cultivators present at the scene. It was especially so for the divine transformation realm cultivators. The higher their cultivation base, the more terrifying they felt the aura. Along with a cracking sound, the mortal void grade formation light that was strong enough to block the attack of a late divine transformation realm cultivator seemed to have been melted by someone. At the place where the formation light was broken, a purple light shone brightly. A trace of purple gold sandstorm slowly flowed out from the fingertip of a white-robed young man. No one could see how he did it. However, when Chu Shun and concubine Zi saw the purple gold sandstorm, their hearts trembled. It was the first time their hearts trembled since they came to the land of slumber. What is that purple gold sandstorm? It gave people an extremely horrifying feeling. After the formation light was broken, it recovered immediately. The white-robed young man dispersed the purple gold sandstorm, but his eyes were like ice that would never melt for 10,000 years. He took a step forward and stood in front of Lu Wan. Then, he clawed at the silver crane in the sky with his 5 fingers. The silver lines that filled the sky immediately collapsed. When this figure appeared, Yao Yuan's eyes were filled with a hint of fiery respect. Lu Sheng and Lu Daochen were relieved. Concubine Yao had a reproachful expression. Lu Zongyun and Lu Haochen both shivered at the same time. The moment Lu Tianming, who was hiding in the crowd and watching the show, saw this person, he suddenly recalled the terrifying killing intent that this person had when he entered the prefecture and gave away the heads of 3 divine transformation realm cultivators. Liu Bei. It's him. He's here. This is great. He's going to kill people. Wang Zhao's expression changed. He slammed the table and stood up in disbelief. He's Liu Bei. How did he break into this formation? This is impossible. Even I can't break this formation from the outside. The silver lines were broken. Zhu Qin could not imagine that his Silver Crane clan's innate talent was broken so easily. Facing the white-robed young man who was approaching them step by step, for the first time in his life, a trace of palpitating panic rose in his heart. You. Who are you? You're asking me who I am. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light as if he had heard the most ridiculous question. He took a step forward and turned into purple smoke. With an unimaginable speed, he instantly appeared in front of Zhu Qin and grabbed him with one of his hands. The force of this grab directly broke Zhu Qin's first-level Jade Life Realm Evil Spirit Protective Shield and grabbed his arm. Second level of Jade Life Realm. Zhu Qin's face was filled with shock. At the next moment, he felt extreme pain. Ning Fan's grab tore off one of Zhu Qin's arms using an extremely bloody method. Broken bones and blood splattered everywhere. Under the intense pain, Zhu Qin's face turned pale and he hurriedly retreated. His heart was filled with both shock and anger. Who is it? Who exactly is this person? This aura force is stronger than anyone else here. However, I have no grudge against him. Why would he hurt me? You're asking me who I am. Ning Fan took a step forward. His aura force rose with each step he took. When he took the 9th step, the great force of the heavenly cycle turned into rays of sword light and dispersed. At this moment, Zhu Qin coughed out blood crazily. He was actually injured by this great force sword. Forming a sword with 9 steps and injuring a divine transformation realm cultivator. What kind of technique is this? This person is definitely not a nobody. Who is he? You don't even know who I am, but you still dare to hurt my wife? Ning Fan clenched his 5 fingers. Traces of sunlight turned into a golden spear. Mid-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique, parting sun spear. However, this spear seemed to have something different about it. Zhu Qin could not see it. However, the power of this spear was almost comparable to a high-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique. With a slap, the golden spear turned into a blazing golden rainbow and shot towards Zhu Qin. Parting Sun Spear. No. It's impossible for the Parting Sun Spear to have such power. At the moment when the golden light shot out, Zhu Qin's expression changed drastically. He wanted to display his demonic technique to block it, but Ning Fan stopped him with a finger. This heaven sealing technique was executed without leaving any trace. No one could tell the origin of this technique. It was as if the stone warrior had recognized what happened today and would never happen again. The golden spear penetrated his body and turned into thousands of rays of sunlight. Each of them carried the power of the heavenly spirit and was as scorching as the sun. After being hit by the golden spear, Zhu Qin let out a miserable shriek. Golden yang flames rose from his body and began to melt rapidly. In just a moment, he turned into ashes under the burning sunlight. He could clearly feel that the true yang power of the sunlight in the parting sun spear was excessively dense. Impossible. How can there be so much true yang power? Within the golden light, Zhu Qin's silver crane-shaped demon souls were already trembling in fear. They desperately leaped out of the golden light and fled towards the outside of the spiritual platform. He had no idea who this person was. The only thing he knew was that this person was so strong that killing him was as easy as stepping on an ant. If he didn't escape from the spiritual platform and escape under the protection of the formation light, he would definitely die. General Wang, save me. Zhu Qin looked at Wang Xiao and begged for help. However, Wang Xiao couldn't break this grand formation. How could he save him? Want to leave? Did I allow you to leave? Get back here now. His words were like heavenly thunder exploding in Zhu Qin's ears, causing them to tremble violently. The demon souls who were fleeing desperately coughed out mouthfuls of blood. With just a moment of delay, Ning Fan had already turned into smoke and approached Zhu Qin. With a single palm, he held Zhu Qin's weak demon souls in his hand. Zhu Qin was terrified to death. He was a dignified divine transformation realm demon general. How could he be so vulnerable in the hands of this person? You asked me who I am. Let me tell you. I am Lu Wan's husband, Liu Bei. Soul search. Zhu Qin's demon souls were on the verge of shattering. Amidst the excruciating pain, they were filled with fear, confusion and disbelief. This person is the nascent soul realm ant that General Wang Xiao mentioned, Liu Bei? He is Liu Bei. He is actually Liu Bei. The person whom I was ordered to kill, is actually the wife of such an expert. If I knew that this person is so powerful, I wouldn't have dared to touch Liu Wan, or even with Wang Xiao's order. You are not nascent soul realm. You are spirit severing realm. Spare me. Ah! Zhu Qin used the last bit of his strength to beg for mercy. However, their consciousness was erased by Ning Fan's brutal soul search. After swallowing their souls in one gulp, the coldness in his eyes became even more intense. So that's how it is. These Qin immortals were ordered by Wang Xiao. Wang Xiao. Ning Fan remained silent. He took a step forward and returned to Lu Wan's side. He gently hugged her in his arms and wiped away the bloodstain at the corner of her mouth. At this moment, because of the Qin immortals, there were no longer any powerful cultivators remaining in the formation. Ning Fan flicked his sleeve. Countless spiritual platforms gathered and fused into Lu Wan's spiritual platform, turning into a platform of clouds and mist which was shrouded in purple qi. This spiritual platform was made up of 56 purple platforms. After all the purple platforms merged into one, the formation light shattered. Lu Wan nestled in Ning Fan's arms. She was a little worried. She was worried that Ning Fan would blame her for risking her life to pursue the blue-grade spiritual platform. Previously, she was scolded for using her blood spirit attachment. I'm sorry. She apologized softly. No. It's my fault. Thank you. Thank you for keeping the quota for me. Thank you for sacrificing so much for me. Now, I will use this quota to help you vent your anger. Don't be impulsive. Lu Wan wanted to persuade him, but Ning Fan had already let go of her. He turned around and looked at Wang Xiao. Then, he took a step forward. The clouds and mist that were made up of 56 purple platforms expanded rapidly and turned into a purple cloud platform that stretched for 1,000 li high up in the sky. On the purple platform, Ning Fan looked down at the common people. He flicked his sleeve and pointed at Wang Xiao as if he was pointing at an animal. Disdain. The first round has ended. The second round begins now. I, Lu, will accept anyone's challenge on this purple platform. Wang Xiao, if you want the world map, get your ass up here and die. How dare you? Wang Xiao was enraged. This young man is too arrogant. How dare he kill my subordinates, Zhu Qin, and search the souls of the members of the True Spirit clan. He has already committed a serious crime. Wang Xiao wished he could immediately rush forward and tear him apart. However, before he could even move, 3 early Divine Transformation Realm Demon Generals stepped forward and cupped their fists at him. General, please allow us to kill this young man and avenge the deaths of Li Ban, Jin Kun, and Zhu Qin. I'll allow it. Wang Xiao's eyes turned cold. These 3 were the last 3 early Divine Transformation Realm Demon Generals he brought with him. Chapter 277. A cloud platform hung high above the Luoyun sect. Above the cloud platform was a 1,000-li purple platform that Ning Fan had condensed with a single step. The 3 early spirit-severing realm demon generals of the upper world turned into smoke and teleported to the purple platform, looking at Ning Fan with disdain. You've killed the demon general of the upper realm, your crimes are monstrous. Bow your head and accept your death. His words were like swords, his aura rising. The gazes of the 3 generals focused. Behind each of them, 3 demonic blood phantoms, namely the Jade Wolf, the Snow Python, and the Revolving Tortoise, appeared. The 3 phantoms were over 1,000 feet tall. The moment they condensed, a gale swept up in the sky, thunder appeared in the sky, and the clouds scattered. A surge of true spirit blood chi disturbed the cloud platform, making the blood of the 100,000 monsters below the soul formation level tremble as if they were scared. True blood. The might of a true spirit. Similar to Li Ban and the others, these 3 people possessed true blood grade true spirit bloodlines. Moreover, the 3 of them changed their hand seals and their auras merged together. The 3 phantoms slowly merged together and the aura they emitted rose rapidly. It wasn't at the level of normal true blood. The entire 9 tribes of the Lu clan had 107 soul formation cultivators. There were only a few of them with true blood. Those who had remnant blood were considered heaven's favorites in this land of slumber. Lu Zhan, Lu Qing, and the other all-heaven cloud demon generals were forced to take several steps back under the pressure. Only then did their bloodline fear dissipate. Luo Yun's second general, Lu Sheng, changed his hand seals and took half a step back to dispel the pressure. However, his expression was grave. The first general, Lu Ao, was a brawny man in red armor. His beard was short like a thorn and his eyes were serious. He was already half a step away from breaking through to the mid-divine transformation realm. This person took a step forward and the red light trembled, scattering the true spirit pressure. However, his expression was not relaxed. The soul formation cultivators at the fragmented blood level were already having a hard time dealing with it. Those nascent soul cultivators and golden core cultivators with mixed or mortal blood couldn't resist the power of the true spirit blood at all. Unless one was at the mid-divine transformation stage, who else would be able to remain calm under the pressure of such a powerful true blood? Wang Zhao's eyes were cold as he sneered at the 3 demon generals behind him. Fu Lang, Yu Du, and Gu Jia. Even though the 3 of them are early demon generals, they have cultivated the might fusion technique. With the might of their true blood fused together, I'm afraid just the pressure alone will be enough to crush Liu Bei to death. 3 layers of aura force and 3 layers of ocean waves engulfed Ning Fan. However, he didn't move at all. He flicked his sleeves and used teleportation to send Lu Wan back to the Luoyun seats. At this moment, his eyes suddenly froze. A mere true blood, these 4 words were extremely plain. However, as his eyes focused, a 1,000 zhang tall shadow of Fu Li appeared behind him. His purplish-black demon blood was filled with ominous and evil aura. At the moment when it appeared, a vast and intolerable aura of dignity spread out from his body and turned into a pair of eyes that could shake the heavens. Under this gaze, it was as if even the heavenly Tao could be looked down upon. It was as if the void would collapse under this gaze. The 3 true blood phantoms, whether it was the Jade Wolf, the snow python, or the whirlpool tortoise, all of them trembled in fear and collapsed at this moment. The expressions of the three generals went grim as they flew 300 m back in unison, and only then were they able to slightly resist the might of the royal bloodline of the Fu Li kingdom, yet their eyes were filled with astonishment. Royal blood. It really was a true spirit king blood. But why have we never heard of the existence of the Fu Li tribe in the true spirit race? There was no explanation. Why was there a need to explain? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He took a step forward and disappeared in a flash. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the three generals like a wisp of green smoke. Then, he pointed at his glabella and the Separation Slayer sword appeared in his hand. A ray of starlight sword shadow fell into the eyes of the three generals. They could not see what it was at all. They only knew that it was a sword. However, it already gave them an extreme sense of danger. All of them were greatly shocked. Their faces no longer had the disdain they had when they looked down on Ning Fan earlier. This person's speed is too fast. This person's sword is too dangerous. We must defend ourselves immediately. Innate skill of the Jade Wolf clan, Jade Dipper. Innate skill of the Snow Python clan, Slippery Scales. Innate skill of the Whirlpool Tortoise clan, Yu Jia. In front of Demon General Fu Lang, there were a total of 12 astral spirits that only Jade Life Realm experts could display. With 12 Jade-like astral spirits protecting him, he was afraid that even a mid-divine transformation realm attack could be blocked. Yu Du revealed his demon form and turned into a 600 zhang large snow-white python. Dark green snake scales slowly appeared on the python's body. If one takes a closer look at these scales, each of them would be as sturdy as a low-grade earth profound armor. More importantly, these snake scales were extremely smooth. If ordinary magic techniques or abilities were to land on these scales, they would directly slide off and be nullified. Behind Gujia, a black tortoise shell that looked like black iron appeared. After blowing a mouthful of demon chi, the tortoise shell kept expanding and turned into a gigantic tortoise shell that was taller than a mountain, protecting Gujia in the middle. An early divine transformation realm attack and the destructive power of a profound heavenly incomplete treasure could not break this thick shell at all. The moment Ning Fan closed in on them, the three of them displayed their strongest defense. While they were defending themselves, they also began to form demon hand seals, preparing to deal a fatal blow to Ning Fan after blocking his sword attack. However, the Separation Slayer sword was not as powerful as they imagined it to be. The only thing it had was its sharpness. Ning Fan held the starlight longsword in his hand. His black hair fluttered in the wind as if he had become one with the sword. His sword was like lightning, slashing horizontally in front of him like a half-moon. Under this slash, all the heavenly spiritual force within 10,000 li was activated. At the moment when the starlight danced, an extremely sharp sword light emitted an ear-piercing sword cry. With Ning Fan as the center, it shattered the sky within 1,000 li. At the moment when the sky collapsed, there were 15,000 starlight sword silks that were densely packed together. It made all the onlookers' scalps go numb. Sword transformation into silks. 15,000 sword silks. Each of the sword silks could easily tear a gold core realm cultivator apart. This one sword silk was enough to subdue 15,000 gold core realm small demons. 12 astral spirits, shattered. True blood snake scales, shattered. Mountain tortoise shell, shattered. Ning Fan swung the Separation Slayer sword and stood proudly. The three generals in front of him, however, had all their defenses broken by this single slash. Their shells were cracked and their demon bodies were destroyed. The three demon souls turned into dust and frantically escaped from their demon bodies. They were already terrified. That trace of sword light was too sharp. It was a spiritual treasure that was about to break through to the mid-grade. What was more terrifying was that there were more than 15,000 traces of the word sharpness on the sword. Unless one was a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator, who else could withstand the destructive power of this sword? I must escape. Trying to escape. Weren't you very arrogant just now? Ning Fan pointed at the sky and the three souls were frozen. With a flick of his sleeve, the three souls appeared in his hand. Without looking at their terrified expressions, he swallowed them in one gulp. The four generals and fourth brother's storage pouches were all taken by Ning Fan without even looking at them. At this moment, the aura of an early-stage soul formation cultivator was completely exposed. Divine Transformation Realm? This young man actually succeeded in breaking through to the Divine Transformation Realm. Wang Shao rose to his feet abruptly. His pupils shrunk in disbelief. 11 years. 11 years ago, this Liu Bei was just an early nascent soul realm cultivator. However, 11 years later, he had truly broken through to the Divine Transformation Realm. Putting aside the fact that he had broken through to the Divine Transformation Realm, the destructive power of this young man's sword was clearly comparable to a mid-Divine Transformation Realm attack. If Wang Shao was not mistaken, that Starlight Longsword was a half-step mid-grade spiritual treasure with more than 15,000 traces of the word sharpness. Moreover, it was an immemorial divine weapon. With this sword, this young man was almost invincible within the early Divine Transformation Realm. The Earth General of the Lai Tu tribe, Bai Wuzuan, was shocked. His Lai Tu tribe could be considered to have a deep grudge against Ning Fan. Bai Wuzuan had already planned to kill Ning Fan and take revenge for his previous visit to the Luoyun tribe. However, at this moment, he was shaken. Even when he heard that Ning Fan had occupied the three Divine Transformation Realms, he was not so shaken even though he felt uneasy. Now that he had personally witnessed the destructive power of Ning Fan's sword, he was inwardly shocked. Unless he used the power of the Star of Bestowment, otherwise, he would not be able to withstand this attack without sustaining any injuries. If it was Ning Fan's full strength, he would not be so afraid of it. However, anyone with a discerning eye could see that Ning Fan did not use any sword techniques in that attack. He only relied on the sharpness of the Separation Slayer's sword to easily kill the three Divine Transformation Realm experts. Moreover, all of this was achieved after the three Divine Transformation Realm experts displayed a defense that even Bai Wuzuan found difficult to deal with. There were no fancy tricks or tricks. Even if the three generals were given a chance to be reborn, they still could not withstand a single attack from Ning Fan. As the demon lord of the Lai Tu tribe, it was Bai Wuzuan's first time being afraid of a junior who had just attained the Divine Transformation Realm. Lu Haochen's eyes were filled with bitterness. He and Liu Bei were once the two greatest playboys of the northern desert. However, 11 years had passed and he was still at the bottom of the valley while Ning Fan had already attained the Divine Transformation Realm. Moreover, he had even become an existence who could kill three Divine Transformation Realms with his sword. It was laughable that he had mocked this person in the past in the Mingyu Tower. Back then, he really didn't know how to spell the word death. Demon concubine Wu Yan snickered. She thought to herself that this Ning Fan really has a monstrous innate potential. He actually achieved the Divine Transformation Realm in 11 years. Perhaps the current Ning Fan is strong enough to compete with me without using any bewitching techniques. A hint of pride appeared on Lu Wan's pretty face. This was the man whom she valued highly. This was the nascent soul realm and Liu Bei that Wang Shao mentioned. But what happened in the end? Ning Fan stood on the purple platform and pointed his sword at Wang Shao. Not long after he appeared, he had already killed 4 Divine Transformation Realm experts from the upper world. No one could compare to him in terms of elegance. The 9 divisions of the Lu clan could not be compared to him. Not even the prodigies of the true spirit realm in the upper world could compare to him. Lu Daochen stroked his white beard. His eyes were filled with gratification. Ning Fan has successfully attained the Divine Transformation Realm. In that case, this young man will probably keep his promise and head to the third world to bury General Lu's soul. Lu Daochen raised his head and looked at the young man whose eyes and sword were filled with terrifying baleful qi. Then, he sighed softly. Once upon a time, he also had the heroic spirit of pointing his sword at the heaven and earth. Unfortunately, he was already old. Liu Bei, receive the map. Lu Daochen made up his mind and took out the Luo Yun realm map. With a flick of his finger, the map was sent to the purple platform and Ning Fan. Along with the map, there was also an ancient painting. It was the painting that Ning Fan had once praised as an immortal treasure. After getting the map, Ning Fan kept it in his storage pouch and nodded at Lu Daochen. There was no need to say anything else. Since he had accepted the map, he would not go back on his word. Now, he had 2 pieces of the map in his hands. The map. This Liu Bei has already obtained the second map. Each of the Divine Transformation Realm old monsters' expressions turned fiery. Moreover, many of them had already forgotten about the battle and intended to rush to the purple platform to snatch the map. However, when they recalled Ning Fan's terrifying battle record of killing 4 Divine Transformation Realm experts in a row, how could ordinary Divine Transformation Realm experts dare to challenge him? After all, even the demon lord of the Lai Tu tribe was afraid of him. Ning Fan did not care about the gazes, hostility and fear of the others. He pointed his Separation Slayer sword at Wang Xiao. His sword chi was like clouds. I'm here. Wang Xiao, do you dare to come up and accept your death? Damn it. So what if you have really reached the Divine Transformation Realm? So what if you really possess a true Spirit King bloodline that I don't even know? A mere early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator is not worth mentioning in my eyes. I don't need to do anything to kill you. Zhou Teng, go and kill this man. Yes. Among the 3 mid-Divine Transformation Realm experts behind Wang Xiao, the one with the highest cultivation base turned into green smoke and leaped to the purple platform. His aura force was as vast as the sea. His green armor was thick and heavy. His face was as skinny as a corpse, but his body was filled with boundless strength. He was an expert who mainly focused on body refinement. I am Zhou Teng. I have cultivated my demon cultivation for 2,900 years. I have taken the lives of 27 Divine Transformation Realm experts. Among them, 21 were early Divine Transformation Realm experts, 5 were mid-Divine Transformation Realm experts and 1 was injured late Divine Transformation Realm expert. I am here to take your head under the order of General Wang. As soon as his voice fell, his demon power surged and pieces of Rot-10 armor appeared around his body. The Rot-10 armor gave Ning Fan an extremely heavy feeling. He was afraid that even his Separation Slayer sword might not be able to break through it. Only if the Separation Slayer sword broke through to become a mid-grade spiritual treasure would it have a chance of breaking through. This person was not to be underestimated. For the first time, Ning Fan felt that he was on par with him. Zhou Teng, ha! I will remember your name. He loosened his grip and the Separation Slayer sword turned into starlight and flew back to his glabella. Ning Fan took a step forward. His astral spirit appeared around his body and his aura force was rising steadily. Judging from the situation, he was actually going to defeat Zhou Teng with the strength of his body refinement. Zhou Teng's eyes narrowed. His Rot-10 armor was so strong that even experts at the 3rd level of the Jade Life Realm would find it hard to break it. This Liu Bei actually dared to compete with me in body refinement. I wonder if this man is too stupid or too arrogant. You won't be able to take a punch from me. Zhou Teng said arrogantly. Noisy. Ning Fan took a step forward and turned into a ray of light. Then, he threw a punch at Zhou Teng. Zhou Teng's expression remained unchanged. His fist was also covered in a jade-colored light. When their fists collided, Ning Fan retreated 70 steps while Zhou Teng retreated 100 steps. The collision between the fists of experts at the 2nd level of the Jade Life Realm was silent. However, after a few breaths' time, the place where their fists came into contact with each other suddenly turned into astral winds. The immense aura force made all the demon cultivators below the Divine Transformation Realm show expressions of respect. What a strong fist! Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. This mid-divine transformation realm Zhou Teng is a person who loves to fight bloody battles. Humph. Same to you. Zhou Teng's expression was cold but his heart was filled with shock. Both of them were at the second level of the Jade Life realm, but he was actually slightly weaker than Ning Fan. This man is actually such a monster. His cultivation base improved at an unimaginable speed. His body refinement technique is also so strong. The feeling of a tough battle once again rose in Zhou Teng's heart. Only the severely injured late-stage demon general that he killed in the past gave him this kind of feeling. The strength of this man is probably far beyond General Wang's expectation. Chapter 278. Zhou Teng said that Ning Fan wasn't a match for him, but the result was that Ning Fan's fist was weaker than his opponent. This result was no different from slapping himself in the face, causing Zhou Teng's pride as a member of the Kanglin clan to suffer a great blow. The wind blew the mist and clouds but Ning Fan remained unmoving like a mountain. His chi was majestic and his expression was indifferent. Looking at Ning Fan's calm expression, Zhou Teng's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and remained silent. You are stronger than Zhu Qin. Ning Fan said indifferently. Humph. Stop boasting. All you have to do is take a punch from me. As a member of the true spirit race from the upper realm, I have plenty of methods to show you how powerful I am. Don't even think about taking my next punch. Kanglin innate talent, ice-absorbing art. The emaciated Zhou Teng slammed his fists together. The demonic chi turned into azure frost that covered his fists and then spread out to cover his entire body. It was as if he were covered in an azure armor of ice, giving off a cold aura. With a flick of his fingers, countless finger shadows appeared on his fingertips. The cold energy was guided by the demonic energy and entered his body. The strength of his physical body began to increase rapidly. The green frost was like jade, but there was a heart-shaking coldness to it. The moment it appeared, green snowflakes fell from the sky. The coldness of the frost was enough to change the weather. As the cold chi entered his body, regardless of Zhou Teng's physical strength, defense, or aura, all of them rose to a terrifying level. Perhaps he was not any weaker than a third-level Jade Life Realm cultivator. His aura had turned from restless to calm, like a block of ice that would not melt for 10,000 years. When the spectators saw this, they immediately gasped in astonishment. Azure Orchid Ice. The heavenly frost cold chi unique to the Kanglin clan. That's not all. This cold chi is a necessity to use the innate ability of the Kanglin clan. The ice drawing technique absorbs the power of ice and strengthens the body. It's the innate ability of the Kanglin clan. However, the stronger the power of ice, the more destructive it is. When Ning Fan heard the discussions of the crowd, his eyes turned gloomy. It turned out that the blue frost in Zhou Teng's hand was the famous blue ice. The heavenly frost chi was ranked 8th, one rank higher than the profoundine chi. Zhou Teng was the first person Ning Fan fought who possessed the heavenly cold earth flame. Who would have thought that Zhou Teng would possess a type of heavenly frost chill energy? The secret technique of using the power of ice to strengthen one's physical body made Ning Fan's eyes light up. What a profound secret technique! To be able to absorb the power of ice to strengthen one's physical body. This technique is indeed extraordinary. However, if it is just relying on the power of ice, there is nothing for me to fear. The corner of Ning Fan's mouth curled into a cold smile. He took a step forward without changing his expression. Zhou Teng's corpse body flashed, turning into a green light as he punched out with an icy glow. Ning Fan dodged to the side. His eyes turned cold. Zhou Teng's punch missed its target. However, his fist trembled and green frost covered the entire sky. The strength of this punch was comparable to the peak of the second level of Jade Life Realm. The coldness of the green frost had even transformed into an ice-winged dragon that covered a distance of 10,000 miles. With a flap of the dragon's wings, Millions of green snowflakes fell from the sky like falling flowers, yet they were accompanied by a murderous aura. The cold wind blew and the snowflakes enveloped Ning Fan. In just a split second, Ning Fan was already surrounded by thousands of snowflakes. Not only did Zhou Teng strengthen his physical body through the ice drawing technique, but he also displayed a mid-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique at the same time. Without a doubt, this ice-winged dragon was released by Zhou Teng. This dragon is very weak. Your body refining technique isn't weak either. The innate talent of Ji Bing of the Fenglan clan isn't weak either. However, none of these are the reasons why I lost to you. Incinerate. As soon as the word incinerate was uttered, gray flames suddenly filled Ning Fan's entire body. At this moment, Ning Fan seemed to have turned into a gray flaming man. Zhou Teng's eyes flashed with disdain and he sneered. Gray flames? What kind of flame is this? Could it be a fourth-grade spiritual fire? Fire can subdue ice, but it doesn't mean that ice can't subdue fire. You're just courting death by using a fourth-grade demonic flame to fight against my fifth-grade heavenly frost. Is that so? Ning Fan calmly walked in the sea of green snow. His white robes fluttered in the wind. Pieces of green snow that were powerful enough to instantly kill a gold core realm cultivator fell within 3 zhang away from Ning Fan. Immediately, they were melted into green mist by a gray flame qi and dissipated. Chu Shun's expression suddenly changed. The ability he cultivated was related to fire. In front of this gray flame, one of the earth vein demonic flames in his body actually showed signs of losing control. This situation was really unimaginable. Lu Daochun's eyes turned serious. He had a deep understanding of demonic flames. There were tens of thousands of types of demonic flames below the 4th grade and he had seen almost all of them. He was fortunate enough to see 7 types of 5th grade earth vein demonic flames and even 1 type of 6th grade demonic flame. However, the gray flame in front of him did not belong to any type of demonic flame. Lu Daochun was certain about this. It was not just a single type of demonic flame. It seemed to be some kind of demonic flame fusion technique. However, this fusion technique was too profound. Lu Daochun could strangely feel a trace of cold qi from this demonic flame. There's actually ice in the flame. What kind of flame ability is this? No matter how knowledgeable Lu Daochun was, he had never heard of yin-yang flame. The yin-yang flame was the fusion of ice and fire. It was a supreme technique to control fire. Using the power of 2 opposing poles to create an even more powerful force, this was a secret technique passed down by Immortal Emperor Chaotic Ancient. As the gray flames overflowed, the ice Quetzalcoatlus in the sky, which was just a body condensed by magic, showed fear in its eyes. Ning Fan took a step forward and directly went to the head of the ice dragon. The coldness of the dragon was enough to freeze any early spirit severing realm cultivator who touches it. However, Ning Fan was not affected at all when he stepped on the ice dragon. There was no sign of him being frozen. On the contrary, the ice dragon immediately melted into ice qi when it came into contact with the gray flame. Destroy. As Ning Fan uttered the word, the ice dragon melted into green mist and disappeared. Zhou Teng's expression changed and he immediately retreated. At the moment when he retreated, Ning Fan approached him rapidly with his flame body. It was his instinct to retreat. However, after retreating to a distance of 10 zhang, Zhou Teng steadied himself and became angry out of humiliation. He had clearly used a secret technique to strengthen his physical body. However, because his demonic technique was broken, he instinctively felt fear towards Ning Fan, who was just an early spirit severing realm cultivator. Damn it! I don't care what kind of spiritual flame you have, but you should know that in a battle of body refinement, it's an unchangeable rule that one's strength can break all techniques. Zhou Teng's 5 fingers turned into a claw and reached out to the void. His entire arm turned into green ice that was as hard as a mid-grade spiritual treasure. Then, he tried to grab Ning Fan's head. Without retreating or evading, he condensed all the gray flames into a fist and threw it at Ning Fan. It was obviously a fire fist, but after it was thrown, it reflected hundreds of rays of fist light and dispersed into tens of thousands of gray fist imprints. After being hit by the fist imprints, the ice chi in Zhou Teng's body melted rapidly. The strength of his physical body that was enhanced by the ice drawing technique was destroyed on its own. Boom! Ning Fan's fist collided with Zhou Teng's again. The difference was that this time, Ning Fan's attack was much sharper. After the collision, he only took 50 steps back. As for Zhou Teng, his mental state was in a mess and he was about to lose. Under Ning Fan's fiery fist, his body was burned by the gray flames. He used up a lot of his techniques to extinguish the gray flames on his body. His eyes were filled with fear. He was from the Fanglan clan, a plant and wood demon race. He was afraid of fire. Even though he was not afraid of fire like the Min Luo Tree clan, his injuries were definitely not light. What kind of flame is this? Zhou Teng originally wanted to defeat Ning Fan with his body refinement technique. However, his ice drawing technique was broken and his body refinement technique was not as good as Ning Fan's. If he wants to win, he would probably have to rely on his demon power. If his physical body collides with Ning Fan's and he gets burned by the gray flames, he would suffer a greater loss. Ning Fan's body refinement technique was strong, but his demon power cultivation base was just at the early divine transformation realm. A low-grade spiritual treasure would not be able to break his rattan armor. His cultivation base was higher than this young man after all. There was nothing for him to be afraid of. Zhou Teng's mental state gradually calmed down. However, his eyes no longer had the disdain he had for Ning Fan in the beginning. This young man is definitely an expert. He can even kill one or two ordinary mid-divine transformation realm experts. Young man, you are not weak. However, I have received the order from General Wang to kill you. Don't worry. You are not weak either. Compared to Wang Xiao, you are slightly less annoying. I will only kill you once. Alright. Let's see who can kill who between the two of us. The baleful qi around Zhou Teng was even stronger than Ning Fan. Regardless of his personality, his killing intent was not something that Li Ban and the others could compare with. Even if Ning Fan captures him, he would not beg for mercy like Li Ban and the others. Ning Fan would only kill enemies who were not too annoying. Zhou Teng was indeed an expert. It was not a coincidence that he could kill an injured late divine transformation realm expert. If it wasn't for the fact that the Fanglan clan's grass-wood body and ice techniques happened to be restrained by Ning Fan would need to use the wind mist technique to kill this person. Unfortunately, there was no such entrance in this world. Ning Fan's next move was to take this person's life. Both of their auras rose and they were preparing their demonic techniques. The ice power in Zhou Teng's eyes became stronger and stronger. The fear, conceit and arrogance that he had in the beginning had vanished and turned into the calmness that determined life and death. His hand seals carried green icy shadows. As he changed his hand seals, the demon power around Zhou Teng's body flowed in all directions, turning into several tens of thousands of orchids that looked like green ice crystals. Knowing that it was still impossible for him to kill Ning Fan with this technique, Zhou Teng's eyes turned ruthless. He patted his storage pouch and took out a sword. Then, he forcefully cut off his left arm. Such a shocking act surprised countless demon cultivators. However, only a few of them knew that the self-mutilation was to display another secret technique of the Fanglan clan. Orchid-killing blood technique. Zhou Teng's face turned pale and he shouted coldly. His severed arm exploded into blood mist and fused with the tens of thousands of ice orchids, causing them to be dyed with a faint blood-red color. As for the chi of his demon power, it had almost reached the peak of the mid-divine transformation realm. With the demon power of a half-step late divine transformation realm expert, even ordinary mid-divine transformation realm experts would have a hard time withstanding the mid-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique. The Earth General, by Wuzuan, swallowed his saliva. Even if he uses the bestowment star, he only has a 40% chance of withstanding this technique. This Zhou Teng is really ruthless. In order to kill his enemy, he severed one of his arms. I'm not as good as him. I'm afraid that Liu Bei won't be able to withstand this technique. Forget it. It's good that he can't withstand it. If he dies in Zhou Teng's hands, it can be considered as indirectly taking revenge for my Lai Tu tribe. While the Earth General was pondering, his eyes were filled with shock at the next moment. The shock was not only in his eyes. At this moment, concubine Zi lost her composure for the first time. She rose to her feet. Her phoenix eyes, which used to be insufferably arrogant, were now filled with complicated astonishment. Ning Fan knew that if he wants to defeat Zhou Teng in a battle of demonic techniques, he would have to increase his demon power. The Parting Sun spear was not any weaker than Zhou Teng's. With the support of the yin-yang flame, the power of the Parting Sun spear could restrain Zhou Teng's Ice Orchid's technique. However, his demon power was a shortcoming. If this shortcoming increases to a certain extent, his gray flame might lose to Zhou Teng's Ice Orchids no matter how powerful his gray flame was. He must increase his demon power, and there was only one way to do so. He was not afraid of showing off in front of everyone. With his Divine Transformation Realm cultivation base, he was qualified to use this technique in public. Soul extraction. He bent his palm and made a grabbing motion, as if he was going to extract the soul of the earth within hundreds of thousands of li of the Luoyun province. Even though it was just a grabbing motion, it felt like he was taking out an ancient object from the earth and swallowing it. At this moment, his demon power rapidly increased to 50,000 units. The gap between his demon power and Zhou Teng's had shrunk. That ancient object was the soul of the earth. It carried the souls of hundreds of thousands of li and turned them into the destructive power of Ning Fan's finger. It's actually soul extraction. Chu Shun's eyes were burning with passion. When Ning Fan killed 3 gods in a row, he did not think highly of this young man. When Ning Fan displayed his gray flame, he also did not think highly of this young man. However, when he saw the soul extraction technique, Chu Shun could no longer remain calm. After all, this technique was one of the 3 void fragmentation realm divine abilities. Those who can comprehend this technique would certainly attain the void fragmentation realm in their lifetime if there are no accidents. This young man is actually not an ant but an expert who has the potential to attain the void fragmentation realm. It seems like the second world doesn't only have Lu Daochen, who is a pedant, but also this young man who is a monstrous existence. Liu Bei, huh? Zhou Teng's originally calm state of mind began to fluctuate again when he saw the soul extraction technique. Soul extraction. Soul extraction. This young man has such a high level of comprehension. I really can't underestimate him in the future. We should recruit such a person instead of offending him. General Wang Shao has made a mistake. Once you offend such a person, he will become General Wang Zhao's greatest enemy if you give him enough time. I want to get rid of this threat for the general. Demon Technique, Supreme Breath Ice Orchid. As Zhou Teng changed his hand seal, a heavy breath seemed to resound in the sky. In just a few breaths, tens of thousands of ice orchids seemed to have gained life. They turned into icy rainbows with ear-piercing screeches and approached Ning Fan in an instant. Each of the ice orchids was ignited with green ice flames when they were 100 zhang away from Ning Fan. The impact force of each of the ice orchids after they ignited their flames was comparable to a meteor falling from the sky. Ning Fan's expression remained the same even though the ice orchids, which were comparable to falling meteors, were getting closer and closer. He suddenly raised his hand. At the same time, all the plants within hundreds of li of the Luoyun province withered. Their souls and life force were extracted. The earth cracked and the rivers dried up. The land that had lost its soul began to crumble. He grabbed with his 5 fingers. Traces of sunlight were pulled out from the sky like silk being peeled from a cocoon. They slowly condensed into a gigantic golden spear in front of him. The surface of the spear was bright and dazzling. It had a terrifying temperature that could melt everything. The reason why the temperature was irresistible was because there was a trace of true yang power in it. Divine Transformation Realm cultivators could not control that kind of power, but they could still borrow some of it. However, when Ning Fan willed it, 2 dark red divine stars suddenly appeared on his glabella. The first star was solid while the second star was slightly illusory. However, it was no longer half a star. It was condensed by accident when he was comprehending the parting sun spear in the dragon pool. This was the reason why he was late and also the reason why he was so powerful. For example, this gigantic parting sun spear only contained a trace of true yang power. However, after activating the second divine star, the Yin melting star, the lightning power turned into true yang power, increasing the true yang power in the spear to 12 traces. Therefore, the power of this parting sun spear was comparable to a high-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique due to the increase of the true yang power. As Ning Fan inserted the gray flame into the parting sun spear, the body of the spear was covered with strange gray flames. This technique had completely advanced to the high-grade divine transformation realm. The parting sun spear became bigger and bigger. It was almost 100 zhang long. Destroy. A surge of immense demonic power gathered in his palm. With a forceful slap, the parting sun spear turned into a ray of light that was half gold and half gray. The body of the spear reflected the light of true yang. As soon as the ice orchids came into contact with it, they immediately melted. The body of the spear was too fast. It was approaching Zhou Teng at an unimaginable speed. It reflected countless golden rays of sunlight in front of him and went into his body. When Ning Fan's magic power was almost on par with his and the grade of the parting sun spear was forcefully upgraded to the high-grade divine transformation realm, Zhou Teng understood that he had lost. When the ice orchids were broken and the parting sun spear penetrated his body, Zhou Teng tried to escape with his demon soul. However, his demon soul was pierced by the rays of sunlight and was destroyed. With the ice orchids wrapped in his demon soul, Zhou Teng barely managed to escape from the range of the sunlight. However, he was already exhausted before he could get far. Then, he was captured by Ning Fan's palm. Zhou Teng knew that he would certainly die because if he captures Ning Fan, he would certainly kill Ning Fan to avoid future troubles. Zhou Teng could even predict that Wang Shao might not be Ning Fan's match. It would be fine if Ning Fan dies. However, if he ascends to the heavenly demon world in the future and takes revenge on his clansmen, he would be in danger. This old man has a request. It's impossible for me to spare you. Ning Fan forcefully tried to extract the ice orchids from Zhou Teng's soul. However, he failed. This ice orchids seemed to have been fused with Zhou Teng's soul using a special secret technique. Unless he was willing to, he would not be able to separate it from his demon soul. If his demon soul is killed, the ice orchids would disappear. Cough cough. I don't want to live. I just want Celestial Orchid to be innocent. This ice orchids is my compensation for offending you. Celestial Orchid is innocent. With a single thought, Zhou Teng's demon soul's eyes turned ruthless. He forced the ice orchids out of his demon soul and detonated it. He knew that he was going to die. However, instead of being eaten by Ning Fan as food, he would rather self-detonate. He did not know if Ning Fan would agree to his request. All he wanted was to be at ease. On his palm, a green ice orchid blossomed. Ning Fan gently closed his eyes. Zhou Teng's personality was at least a man. If he did not willingly hand over the celestial orchid ice, Ning Fan might not be able to obtain it. As long as the celestial orchid doesn't offend me, I won't be hurt, Ning Fan muttered to himself. He shook his cauldron ring and kept the celestial orchid ice. He was telling the truth. He was not trying to comfort the dead Zhou Teng. If the celestial orchid clan does not provoke him again, he would not mind sparing their lives. After dispersing the earth soul, Ning Fan felt weak. However, his eyes were still looking down at Wang Xiao from the purple platform. Wang Xiao. Fight with me. Zhou Teng is such a good-for-nothing. Wang Xiao gritted his teeth. Of course, he knew that Zhou Teng had already done his best. In that kind of situation, perhaps none of the mid-divine transformation realm experts present could have done better than Zhou Teng. However, Zhou Teng was still defeated and killed. It was fine if he lost or died. The most hateful thing was that Zhou Teng actually gave in to Ning Fan before he died. This was like a fiery slap to Wang Xiao's face. It was because Zhou Teng believed that Ning Fan would definitely fight Wang Xiao today and the outcome of the battle would be Ning Fan's victory. That was why he begged Ning Fan to spare the lives of the Celestial Orchid clan, instead of asking Wang Xiao to avenge him. You too, go and kill this Liu Bei. Wang Xiao pointed at the two mid-divine transformation realm experts behind him and said sternly. We. The two of them hesitated. Their eyes were filled with fear. They were not as strong as Zhou Teng and they were not as decisive and ruthless as him. They also did not have the courage to commit suicide. Knowing that Ning Fan had the strength to kill a mid-divine transformation realm expert, the two of them were afraid and did not dare to make a move. Trash. Wang Xiao fiercely struck their chests with his palms. Immediately, the two of them coughed out blood but they did not dare to resist. Below the purple platform, on the cloud platform, there was dead silence. Ning Fan was clearly standing on the purple platform. Anyone who ascends to the purple platform and defeats Ning Fan would be able to snatch the two maps. However, none of the divine transformation realm experts who participated in the battle dared to challenge him. Especially the Earth General of the Lai Tu tribe. At this moment, his face was filled with shock. His palms were filled with cold sweat and his shoulders were trembling uncontrollably. Zhou Teng was dead. Zhou Teng was actually dead. If I provoke this Liu Bei, I'm afraid that I will also have to die. Fortunately, I'm not the one who went to challenge him. This Liu Bei has clearly shown that he has a grudge against Wang Xiao. It's better for me to stay out of it, even though I don't think that this Liu Bei can defeat Wang Xiao. Wang Xiao's eyes turned gloomy. If that's the case, I have no choice but to do it myself. He took a step forward and the entire cloud platform shook violently. It was a sign of Wang Xiao's anger. At the next moment, his true body had already appeared on the purple platform before his afterimage disappeared. He stared at Ning Fan coldly. In my group of 10 people, 7 of them died in your hands. You deserve to die. Why are you resisting me? It's because of you that Wan Er was hurt. Purple light shone from Ning Fan's left eye. All of a sudden, it was as if it had replaced all the light in heaven and earth, causing the entire sky to be dyed purple. The might of the royal bloodline, the might of the half-step void refinement realm, a trace of immortal might. All kinds of aura force were cultivated step by Ning Fan. At this moment, because of the anger in his heart, just the aura force alone dyed the heavens purple. If I'm one step late, I don't know what would happen to Wan Er. But since all of this was Wang Xiao's idea, how could Wang Xiao let it go? Layers of aura force pressed down on Wang Xiao's body. However, he only took 3 steps back and got rid of the pressure. However, his complexion was already extremely ugly. Before the battle even started, he had already shown weakness to Ning Fan. To the arrogant Wang Xiao, it was really hateful. His white hair fluttered even though there was no wind. The battle was unavoidable. However, the corner of Wang Xiao's mouth suddenly curved into a cold smile. Liu Bei, I have a secret that I'll tell you generously. I've already found out that you're a human through the Pure Fire tribe. I even know that you're Zhou Ming of the Endless Sea. As long as I spread this news, there will no longer be a place for you in the second world. Ning Fan frowned. He didn't expect Wang Xiao to be so stubborn. Before the battle, he still wanted to say something to disgust him and mess up his mind. They know my identity. Ning Fan already knew that there was something fishy going on between the Pure Fire tribe and the Demon Sealing Palace. Thus, it was not strange for them to know his identity. There was not a trace of surprise in his heart. There was only calmness. So what if I can't hide my identity? Even if there is no place for me in the second world after this battle. So what? Even if the 9 divisions of the Lu clan will become my enemy after this battle, so what? Ning Fan smiled disdainfully. Wang Xiao, your words won't be able to sway me. However, I can tell you a secret. I'm sure your mind will be in chaos. On the day when the first world collapsed, I was the one who destroyed your demon body and the realm gate. What can you do to me? What did you say? Wang Xiao was enraged. Not only did he fail to discuss Ning Fan, but his mind was also completely messed up by Ning Fan's words. So, the destruction of the realm gate was actually done by Ning Fan. My demon body was actually destroyed by this ant. Purple lightning hammer, appear. Wang Xiao flicked his sleeves and a pair of silver hammers that glittered with starlight appeared in his palms. They were high-grade spiritual treasures and immemorial divine weapons. As he swung the hammers, purple lightning flashed. A gigantic mountain that was 10,000 li away was instantly turned into ashes by the flying lightning. I know you have a treasure that can kill a nascent soul. However, it's useless against this purple lightning hammer. Today, you must die. Chapter 279. Wang Xiao wore a silver robe, had white hair, and wielded a silver hammer made of violet lightning. Without a word, a pair of enormous silver wings sprouted from his back. He took a step forward, and his body grew taller and taller. After a few steps, he grew to a height of 1,500 meters. In front of this giant, Ning Fan was like an insignificant ant. However, he was not afraid at all. Gigantification of the physical body. Ning Fan remained silent. This was the combat technique of the ancient fiend gods. Unfortunately, Ning Fan's body refinement was already different from the ancient deities. The silver-feathered giant let out a shrill cry. After this cry, a strange night descended on the purple platform that was clearly daytime. It was pitch black, and one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. Standing in the darkness, Ning Fan's eyes turned serious. How could he not know that this was the innate ability of the Ice Owl clan, Burning Night technique? Night owls were creatures that lived in the dark. Bing Xiao had fused his bloodline with demonic energy and used his demonic energy to create the Dark Night. He had also used the Dark Night to block the enemy's vision and senses. Ning Fan tried to extend his spirit sense out. To his surprise, he could only see 100 zhang in the darkness. As for the demon cultivators outside, they had absolutely no idea what was happening on the purple platform. Although he couldn't see it clearly, he could feel a soul-stirring aura coming from the top of his head. The purple star in his left eye flashed. His vision pierced through the darkness and saw everything clearly. The moment the darkness descended, the silver-feathered giant's purple lightning hammer smashed down. The power of this smash caused 9 layers of thunderclouds to appear in the sky. Each thundercloud was formed by the power of thunder that had reached the pinnacle. Ripples spread out layer by layer, shattering the void. 9 thunderclouds, 9 layers of enormous strength. This was the extreme use of strength after the physical body was enlarged. Fast, too fast. The speed of this hammer strike was comparable to the speed of a soul formation final stage cultivator. Furthermore, it was a sneak attack in the dark. If one couldn't see the giant hammer strike, even a soul formation peak stage cultivator would be severely injured by this hammer strike. Looking at the purple golden giant hammer that was even larger than a mountain and the collapsing thunder clouds that resembled 9 layers of purple waves, Ning Fan's divine, demon and devil star points revolved at the same time. At this moment, his physical body did not grow larger, but the devil marks on his back were scorching hot. The demon blood in his body was boiling and the blood lightning around him was sizzling. His black hair fluttered in the strong wind. The large purplish-black crystal wings on his back flapped. At this moment, Ning Fan's speed reached its maximum. Like purple lightning, he soared to the sky and faced the 9 layers of thunderclouds head-on. Each thundercloud was powerful enough to kill an early-stage soul formation cultivator, and when all 9 of them combined, the power was enough to severely injure a mid-stage soul formation cultivator. However, as soon as the lightning star flashed and Ning Fan swept his gaze across it, the mere lightning clouds formed by the magic technique began to shatter, crumble and vanish. After piercing through the 9 layers of lightning clouds, Ning Fan wielded his Separation Slayer sword and slashed at the mountainous hammer. Xiaochen gathered all his vital qi on his sword. That scene was like a mosquito crashing into an ordinary person's palm, looking overestimating itself. However, the power of this sword was truly extraordinary. When the sword and the hammer collided, an extremely small collided. A loud dong sound was heard. The falling momentum of the hammer was blocked by Ning Fan's sword. However, the force of this hammer went through the Separation Slayer to his chest, causing his blood and qi to churn. My strength is much weaker than his. After Ning Fan deflected the first hammer, the second hammer fell. He touched his glabella and took out the spirit-shattering whip. As he whipped the hammer, the sky within 10,000 li was filled with blood-red thunderclouds. The lightning force landed on the purple lightning hammer. However, half of it was absorbed by the hammer. Only a small portion of it went towards Wang Xiao's dantian. Knowing that he could not hurt Wang Xiao, Ning Fan kept the spirit-shattering whip. With a flap of his wings, he retreated a few hundred li at a speed that was comparable to a peak divine transformation realm expert. Then, he swung his Separation Slayer sword. The darkness in the sky was cut into half and dispersed. Ning Fan now had a clear understanding of Wang Xiao's strength. At least, it was impossible for him to defeat him with just the Separation Slayer sword and the spirit-shattering whip. This person was arrogant and impetuous. However, his strength was not weak at all. In the darkness, outsiders could not see the battle between the two of them clearly. However, the blood-red lightning that covered 10,000 li, the loud sound of the 9 layers of thunderclouds collapsing and the ruthless cries of the ice owls all affected the nerves of the onlookers. It was not difficult to imagine how fierce the attacks of the two of them were and how many techniques they had used in the first exchange of blows. However, Ning Fan was still unscathed under such a degree of collision. On the other hand, Wang Xiao, who had transformed into a 1,500 zhang giant, had a trace of silver blood in his mouth. Wang Xiao was injured. The silver-feathered Wang Xiao's eyes were filled with anger and confusion. He had used the Ice Owl clan's Sundered Night divine ability to conceal his opponent's senses and sneak attacks with the purple lightning hammers. Even a late soul formation cultivator wouldn't be able to pierce through the darkness. However, Ning Fan had penetrated the darkness in his body. If that was not the case, it was impossible for Ning Fan to aim his attacks and destroy them one by one. Wang Xiao could not understand why Ning Fan could penetrate the darkness. Now, he could break the 9 layers of thunderclouds with his body. If there was still an explanation for all of these, then what happened next made him dumbfounded. Ning Fan did not evade the first strike of the twin hammers. Instead, he used his sword to block the first strike. The 3 qi long green sword resisted the purple lightning hammer, which was as large as a mountain. However, the result of the collision between the two weapons was that Wang Xiao's strength only had a slight advantage. Wang Xiao thought to himself. His body refinement realm was undoubtedly higher than Ning Fan's, and he had even formed his Dharma image. However, Ning Fan, whose body refinement realm was lower than him, had almost completely withstood his attack without using his Dharma image. If Wang Xiao transformed his physical body into a gigantic one, Ning Fan condensed his strength. Two completely opposite body refinement daos, but the outcome was practically equal. What injured Wang Xiao was the second hammer strike. He had heard about Ning Fan's true identity from the Fire General Lu Jifen. He was familiar with Ning Fan's ability to draw treasures and kill his nascent soul. That was why he purposely used his lightning treasure, the purple lightning hammer, to resist his opponent's lightning and avoid the danger of his demon soul getting injured. His purple lightning hammer was a high-grade spiritual treasure while Ning Fan's spirit-shattering whip was a mid-grade spiritual treasure. However, Ning Fan's whip was superior in terms of lightning power. Under the counterattack of the lightning power, Ning Fan managed to draw treasures and kill his soul, injuring Wang Zhao's demon soul. Even the earth-profound upper-grade spirit armor that his demon soul was wearing was shattered by the thunderbolt. If it wasn't for the ice seal on his demon soul, he was afraid that he wouldn't just be lightly injured, but seriously injured. Even though the injury was light, it made Wang Zhao's expression turn extremely ugly. He was certainly not careless or merciful. However, he was injured by an ant in the first exchange of blows. It was a great humiliation. No wonder this young man could kill Zhou Teng and the others. He is indeed quite strong. Besides, when the second hammer strike landed, he managed to avoid it with his incredible speed. His speed doesn't seem to be any slower than mine. However, it's still not enough to fight me. Wang Zhao's expression darkened. He raised both of his hammers and changed his hand seals. The shape of his lightning hammers changed. One of them turned into a purple mountain of lightning court and pressed down on Ning Fan's head. If he wanted to defeat Ning Fan, he couldn't just use brute force. He needed to use some tricks. As Wang Zhao changed his hand seal, the heavenly spiritual force was guided by Lei Shan and seeped into his body. At first, Lei Shan was still 10,000 zhang above the ground. However, in the blink of an eye, he had already teleported 10,000 zhang above Ning Fan's head. As for the other hammer, it turned into a purplish lightning prison that sealed Ning Fan's surroundings. Once he is suppressed by the lightning mountain, the lightning prison would further seal him an immemorial divine weapon to imprison him within, making him unable to escape. This was the transformation ability of the purple lightning hammer. It could turn into a mountain and a lightning prison, which was specially used to suppress and trap enemies. Purple Mountain Lightning Prison. The suppressive force made the air turn heavy, making it hard for people to breathe. The air waves that blew against Ning Fan's face felt like needles pricking his face. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. His surroundings were sealed and the top of his head was suppressed. There was nowhere for him to escape. If it was in the past, he could still use the spirit-severing technique to turn himself into a black shadow and recondense it to avoid the attack. However, at this moment, he felt that the immemorial divine weapon had the ability to attack an illusory body. Even if he turns into a black shadow, he would still be killed by the mountain. I can't escape. I must break this purple lightning hammer head-on before I get suppressed. This Wang Zhao has the attitude of being able to defeat me with his powerful magic treasures. However, other than the Separation Slayer sword and the spirit-shattering whip, Ning Fan still has another powerful magic treasure. The Blood Sword. He patted his storage pouch and the dragon soul of the blood dragon flashed. Then, a broken and ancient blood sword appeared in his hand. As soon as the sword appeared, Wang Zhao's expression changed to one of disdain. The Blood Dragon Demon Sword. This sword is the treasure of the Blood Dragon clan. However, its sword power has been sealed. With the grade of this sword, it is not a match for the purple lightning hammer. Moreover, you won't be able to break the seal on this sword. Before Wang Zhao could finish his words, his eyes shrunk. Without saying a word, Ning Fan directly pressed two of his fingers on the body of the sword and swiped it. With this swipe, the golden-purple wind and sand flowed. The body of the blood sword trembled as if its soul was trembling. The first seal on the sword quickly melted under the wind and sand. At the moment when the seal on the blood sword was broken, a dragon roar that had been suppressed for a long time came from the purple platform and turned into a terrifying blood-red baleful chi. Ning Fan kept the Separation Slayer sword and held the blood sword in his hand. He could feel his mind being shaken by the baleful chi of the sword. However, he gritted his teeth and released a blood-red aura force that was not weaker than a half-step void refinement realm cultivator to forcefully suppress the baleful chi of the sword. The blood sword was resisting. The sword was a dead object. However, this dead object was forged from the bone of a heavenly demon realm blood dragon. It possessed a sharp and unyielding pride. Unwillingness. Unwillingness. Unwillingness to die. Unwillingness to be controlled by anyone. Unwillingness to be a mere dragon bone sword. Roar, strangely, the anger of an evil dragon was heard from the blood sword. It was resisting. It was trying to break free from Ning Fan's grasp and break free from his control. However, when Ning Fan's cold voice resounded and the golden-purple wind and sand flowed on his fingertips, the blood sword that was a dead object felt tiny, insignificant and fearful for the first time. It's this move again. What kind of demonic technique is this golden-purple wind and sand? Chu Shun's expression changed and he suddenly stood up. As for Wang Shao, he swallowed his saliva. His forehead could not help but break out in sweat. It was because he clearly saw Ning Fan tear the first seal on the blood dragon demon sword. The aura force of a half-step void treasure spread out from the blood sword. He actually broke the seal on this sword. Not good. At this moment, Ning Fan moved the sword. His eyes swept across Lei Yu and Dian Shan. His words were threatening as if he was giving an order to the blood sword. No matter what identity you had in the Blood Dragon clan when you were alive or what glory you had, you have to submit to me after becoming a sword after your death. If you don't submit and dare to rebel, I will use my wind mist finger to erase your sword body for eternity. Following Ning Fan's threat, the blood sword calmed down. Tearing the first seal was a trick of the wind mist finger. It did not completely subdue the blood sword. Originally, it could display the might of a void treasure, but now, it was barely equivalent to a half-step void treasure. That alone was enough. If it was a real void treasure, Ning Fan would not be able to control it with his current cultivation base. Even if it was a half-step void treasure, he could only barely subdue it by relying on the aura force of a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. It was as if his blood chi was being rapidly devoured by the blood sword. Ning Fan's complexion was slightly pale. His body was surrounded by a sword intent that could not be looked at directly. When the sword intent reached its peak, the blood sword suddenly pointed at Lei Shan above his head. All of the sword chi exploded at this moment. Along with the blood sword, a dragon roar that was filled with unwillingness resounded. Roar. 10, 100, 1,000. Under this stab, nearly 1,000,000 blood sword shadows were produced, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was a breathtaking sight. An ear-piercing sword chime resounded through the clouds. The sword might of a ferocious beast reverberated across the Luoyun continent. Under this sword might, be it Lei Yu or Lei Shan, none of them could approach or suppress it. Both of them were forcefully held in mid-air by the might of the sword. When the blood sword slashed down, the millions of sword chi merged into one sword and slashed across the sky. Under this slash, the Lei Shan was crushed and the Lei Yu was destroyed. Both of them turned into two purple lightning hammers that had lost a lot of their spirituality. They fell heavily beside Ning Fan's feet, creating a pit that was 100 zhang deep on the purple platform. As expected of an immemorial divine weapon. Even though it was destroyed by the blood sword, it was still strong and indestructible. If it was an ordinary high-grade divine weapon, it would probably have been destroyed by the might of the sword. Puff! When the immemorial divine weapon was destroyed, Wang Shao felt a sharp pain in his chest. He retreated from his avatar and half-knelt on the ground. He coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood and his face was filled with shock. The blood sword that was accompanied by a carp was actually so powerful after breaking the seal. The most unbelievable thing was how Ning Fan, who was just an early divine transformation realm ant, could break the seal. Ning Fan did not feel any better either. That sword had almost absorbed half of his blood essence. If he wields it again, he would probably be sucked dry by the blood sword and die it's a good sword. However, with my current cultivation realm, I can't wield it as I wish. Otherwise, the destructive power of that sword wouldn't just destroy the lightning hammer. Instead, it would annihilate all living beings within a radius of 100,000 li. Killing Wang Shao would be a piece of cake. If I break the second seal, I'm afraid I can summon a power that can injure a void fragmentation realm expert. Chu Shun and Lu Daochun's expressions were filled with solemnity and shock when they saw that Wang Shao was injured and Ning Fan had a large amount of blood essence extracted. They were shocked because Ning Fan had just broken through to the divine transformation realm. However, he was not at a disadvantage in the battle against Wang Shao. They were worried because if both Wang Shao and Ning Fan were injured, the 9 world maps would probably fall into the hands of Imperial Concubine Z and the others. By then, no one would be able to resist the Spirit King Palace. This was the reason why Imperial Concubine Z had been keeping quiet about the battle between the two of them. Why would she need to stop them? The more both of them were injured, the greater the chance of the Spirit King Palace to clinch the first place in the battle. This Liu Bei indeed has the strength to fight for the first place. If I'm not wrong, he just needs to forcefully activate the blood sword and take advantage of the situation to kill Wang Shao. However, if he does that, he will certainly suffer severe injuries from the backlash. I didn't expect that this Liu Bei is actually not an ant and this Wang Shao is actually so weak. It's not that Wang Shao is too weak. It's Liu Bei, who is too strong. Imperial Concubine Wu Yan corrected her with a soft voice. 2 figures leaped onto the purple platform and stood between Ning Fan and Wang Shao. Their purpose was to prevent the situation where both of them were injured. Enough. General Wang, retreat for the time being. This battle will be settled as a draw. Chu Shun said sternly. Liu Bei, that's enough. This battle ends here. It's useless to continue fighting. Lu Daochun advised. Ning Fan remained silent. He also knew that he should prioritize the important matters at this moment. However, he was unwilling to let go of the opportunity to kill Wang Shao. As for Wang Shao, he was even more unwilling to suffer a loss in Ning Fan's hands. He did not want to admit it, but he had no choice but to admit that Ning Fan's cultivation base was weaker than his. However, his combat power was slightly stronger than his. If this battle continues, Ning Fan would injure himself and use his blood-red sword to kill him. Then, he would certainly die. However, he was unwilling to lose to Ning Fan. I'm not convinced. If you don't use your blood-red sword, you definitely won't be able to withstand a single move from me. Liu Bei, today's battle will be decided by the last move. Do you dare to take it? One move. Chu Shun's eyes darkened. Lu Daochun frowned while Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. One move. Are you sure? That's right. All of us have suffered quite serious injuries. If we continue to fight, it will be difficult to determine the victor. Wang Shao gritted his teeth. He was unwilling to say such words, but it was the truth. One move. If you win, your crime of killing Li Ban and the others will be forgiven. If you lose, you will die and the map will belong to me. One move. I won't use magic treasures but demonic techniques. Do you dare to take this battle? Demonic technique. Why wouldn't I dare? A wave of purple chi rose around Ning Fan's body. All of a sudden, half of the sky was dyed purple. It seems impossible to kill Wang Shao today. However, this move, I must severely injure this person. Wang Shao might be strong but he won't be able to withstand my finger. Ning Fan clasped his hands behind his back and stomped on the ground. Then, he kept the 2 purple lightning hammers in front of him into his pouch. Seeing this, Wang Zhao's eyes darkened but he did not say anything. If I kill you with this move, I can take back my purple lightning hammers. One move. I only have the power for one move. There was an ice seal on his demon soul. At this moment, Wang Xiao tore a hole in the seal. A wave of vicissitudes aura was added to Wang Xiao's body. In an instant, his demonic power and aura force increased crazily. It was comparable to the peak spirit severing realm. Chu Shun's expression changed. This is the second innate ability of my Ice Owl clan, Ice Seal. This seal was given to me by a heavenly demon senior. At the moment when I tear the seal, my demonic power will increase by one small realm. Liu Bei, I will give you one last chance. Hand over the map, cut off one of your arms and kowtow to me as an apology. Then, I will spare your life. Noisy. Ning Fan raised his finger. Golden-purple sand flowed on the tip of his finger. The wind blew and the purple mist appeared. It's this technique again. Chu Shun's eyes turned solemn. At such a close distance, he actually felt a hint of danger from this technique. If he could sense the danger, it was needless to say that Wang Xiao was a peak spirit severing realm cultivator who was severely injured and coughing blood. Wang Xiao, I advise you to back off. You are not a match for Liu Bei. Get lost. You are just a prince of the lower world. What right do you have to call my name? Wang Xiao had already fallen into madness. In the blink of an eye, his eyes gradually turned cold and calm. It was as if all of his emotions had been frozen. On his left palm, a ball of cold qi with purple snow fluttering in the air appeared. On his right palm, a ball of black icy wind with ice particles appeared. As soon as these two items appeared, Lu Daochun's expression changed greatly. He immediately sent a telepathic message to Ning Fan. Be careful. Wang Xiao used two types of heavenly cold qi in this move. It's the East Pole Wind that is ranked 6th and the Di Ming Shui that is ranked 4th. Chapter 280. Lu Daochun and Chu Shun retreated from the purple platform respectively. They had decided to stop the second round of the battle here and wait for Wang Xiao and Ning Fan to recover from their injuries before starting again. The two of them left the purple platform, leaving only Ning Fan and Wang Xiao in the arena. A battle of one move. However, this move must be his strongest attack. The golden-purple mist on his fingertip slowly dissipated. He stared at Wang Xiao and the two types of cold qi with a calm expression. Liu Bei, a battle of one move. Firstly, I will attack and you will defend. Secondly, you will attack and I will defend. Sure. Wang Xiao was thinking about taking the initiative while Ning Fan was thinking about how to deal a fatal blow to Wang Xiao. It might seem like he would be at a disadvantage if he attacked later, but there was an advantage in doing so. When Wang Xiao is exhausted, he could activate his wind mist finger without hesitation. After consuming a pill and regulating his breathing, Ning Fan formed his 5 fingers into a claw and clawed at the ground, displaying the soul extraction technique. His aura force rose steadily. Even though it was the second time he used this technique in front of everyone, the profoundness of it still made everyone gasp in admiration. Wang Xiao's eyes darkened. You're just trying to impress the crowd. I admit that you're an expert. However, you still don't understand the difference between an ant in the mortal world and a member of the true spirit clan in the upper world. Just like Zhou Teng, he was bestowed with the celestial orchid ice. As for me, I was bestowed with 2 types of 5th grade cold qi and the cold ice mark. You will die for sure with this move. Wang Xiao did not say anything else. He suddenly pressed both of his palms together. The intense coldness turned into the sound of ice freezing and spread in all directions. At this moment, the shadow of an icy moon was reflected from his body. The surroundings fell into darkness once again. The dark night divine ability was the preparation. The preparation was the moon of ice. Ice will technique. Wang Xiao's emotionless voice came from his mouth. It was as if he had turned into a different person. His tone was unusually steady. The 2 types of cold qi were fused with a strange technique, turning into a blizzard filled with purple ice particles. In an instant, the sky and the earth were enveloped by the blizzard. An icy moon slowly emerged above the broken night sky. That crescent moon was gradually filled with the cold chi and became a full moon. Within the full moon, there seemed to be an eyeball that was sharp and proud. As soon as the eye of ice moon appeared, the sky froze, and the wind and clouds froze. Wang Zhao's incantation changed, and numerous rings of violet ice appeared, swirling around the full moon. Ice wheel, first turn. Second revolution. Third revolution. After just 3 revolutions, the original ice moon eye shot out a sharp frosty gaze. It was like an ice fishing net that was spread out. Everything that was covered by the net was frozen, and all living things were frozen. This ice fishing net emitted a cold intent, and it had the aura of a high-grade transcendent realm demonic art. After the third transformation, it would be a high-grade transcendent level. With the help of 2 kinds of heavenly frost chi, the power of this attack was close to the peak transcendent level. With the moon as the frost, with the night as the coolness, we, the Owl clan, will guard the burial in the sky. Owl Defiant, the soul of the Zhang Air clan. Cold light flashed in Wang Zhao's eyes. He let out a long roar and pointed a finger at Ning Fan. The huge ice net immediately spread towards Ning Fan, vowing to capture this little fish in the net. Under the effect of this technique, Ning Fan felt a great sense of danger, but his right hand was still gathering the golden-purple wind sand. With a point of his left hand, the gray sea of fire that blotted out the sky soared at an unimaginable speed, and turned into 9 gray fire dragons. Incinerate. The 9 fire dragons rushed towards the ice net one after another. 8 of the gray fire dragons were frozen and extinguished, and only the last one fiercely hit the net, burning a hole in it. Then, he used the last of his firepower to burn a huge gap along the hole. Ning Fan flapped his purple wings and soared into the sky. He escaped from the range of the net through the gap, and was not frozen. The net was extremely fast, but Ning Fan's speed was even faster. Impossible. You are just an early spirit severing realm cultivator, how can your speed be so fast? However, if you think that you can escape from the ice net just like that, you are wrong. Under the moonlight, there is nothing but a fishing net. After dodging the attack, Ning Fan's expression changed. Under the cover of the moonlight, his body began to slowly freeze. The ice net was just a bait. The real attack was the moonlight of the ice moon. Break. Along with Wang Zhao's cold smile, the cold moon crumbled and turned into rays of moonlight, wrapping around Ning Fan like a cocoon. The ice cocoon became bigger and bigger. Every time it grew to 100 zhang, the cold power within the cocoon would double. When the ice cocoon reached 900 zhang, the cold power within it was enough to freeze an ordinary late spirit severing realm cultivator to death. Die. Wang Zhao's eyes turned cold. He changed his hand seal and the ice cocoon exploded. The power of ice spread in all directions, shattering the hollow space. In just a breath's time, the entire Luoyun province turned into an ice city under the influence of the ice power. At the center of the ice power explosion, clusters of black shadows were blown up and disappeared. Liu Bei is dead. Wang Zhao laughed happily. However, he felt a little strange that he did not see Ning Fan's storage pouch. Since he had controlled his strength well, his storage pouch should not have been damaged. Even if it was damaged, the world map was special. Other items would die under the demonic technique, but the world map would not. Of course, the purple lightning hammer that Ning Fan had taken away would not be damaged either. If it was not here, it was probably sucked into the hollow space by the storm when the hollow space was shattered. However, Wang Zhao did not have it easy. Forcefully activating the secret technique with his severely injured body had a huge side effect. Now that the secret technique had lost its effect, his limbs and bones were suffering from the backlash of the ice power. The surroundings were dead silent. Wang Zhao's magic technique was really terrifying. Ning Fan did not use any decent methods to resist it at all. It would not be strange if he died, especially the members of the Luoyun tribe. Each of them wore a dejected expression, thinking that Ning Fan had really died. Lu Wan was the only one who took a step forward. Her beautiful eyes stared at the purple clouds that had yet to disperse and said with determination. No. Liu Bei won't die. You're right. How can I die so easily when the enemy is still alive? An indifferent and cold voice resounded in the air. At this moment, the sky was filled with purple clouds, reflecting the most dazzling purple light. At this moment, the black shadows condensed and turned into a black-robed figure. His face was cold and his eyes were pure black. The left side of his face had a demonic pattern. The black-robed young man's face was pale. He coughed out blood which was mixed with ice shards. Even though he had used the Black Tempest soul-splitting technique, he was still heavily injured by Wang Zhao's magic technique. However, he would not die. The sense soul incarnation could be broken and dispersed at will. It was a great ability that allowed one to transform into the void. Only void fragmentation realm old monsters could comprehend the principle of illusion. Due to the difficulty of killing an incarnation, this technique was listed as one of the 3 void fragmentation realm techniques. Even void fragmentation realm old monsters were passionate about cultivating this technique. Being shrouded by the ice cocoon and torn apart by the ice power, Ning Fan's injuries were definitely not light. However, these injuries gave Ning Fan an unprecedented understanding of the sense soul incarnation. Sense soul incarnation. In the past, I understood the 2 words sense soul as spirit sense and soul. Now that I've used it again and again, I vaguely understood that the 2 words sense soul aren't as simple as they seem. Sense is obsession while soul is courage. If one doesn't have courage, they wouldn't dare to break their body to avoid being injured. If they don't have obsession, they wouldn't be able to reform their broken body. This is the true meaning of the sense soul incarnation. I don't know about courage, but I do have obsession. Breaking and condensing again. The black shadow that the black-robed young man had turned into broke again and again. However, every time he condensed, the injuries on his body would gradually recover. Incarnation self-healing. Imperial concubine Z's red lips were at a loss for the first time. Incarnation was an illusory physical body and a defensive ability. It was completely different from a clone. In order to condense an incarnation, one would need to be at least at the void fragmentation realm. However, ordinary void fragmentation realm experts would not be able to cultivate an incarnation to a level where it could self-heal. Imperial concubine Z did not know how an early divine transformation realm expert like Ning Fan could master such a secret technique. She also did not know what kind of heaven-defying perception this young man had to be able to comprehend the incarnation technique to a level where it could self-heal. Her beautiful eyes swept across Imperial concubine Wu Yan, recalling the warning that she had given to her. Don't provoke Liu Bei. This young man has comprehended 2 void fragmentation realm secret techniques. His aptitude is heaven-defying. Even I shouldn't offend him. However, this young man isn't a member of the demon race. This is an undeniable fact. The black shadow condensed again. Ning Fan raised his finger and pointed at Wang Zhao with a mist. Wang Zhao was stunned. He could not understand why Ning Fan was able to survive the attack of the ice power. He also could not understand why the golden-purple mist gave him such a strong sense of danger. He knew that he had to retreat. However, he was already exhausted after using that move. As for Ning Fan's aura, it was constantly rising as his body broke and condensed again. It was a spirit and an obsession that would never change even in death. I must protect my true love. Before that happens, I will not die. No matter how many times my body is crushed, I will not die. Elegance is a finger of quicksand. Age is a period of time. Purple technique, wind mist. Purple clouds scattered. The ice in the Luoyun province melted and was replaced by purple sand. The wind blew across the Luoyun province. The wind blew again. However, this time, it was Ning Fan who was using the mist wind. Wang Shao wanted to escape, but Ning Fan pointed at him with the back of his hand. Freeze! Dark red threads of pressure seeped into the demonic body and entwined around it. Wang Shao felt terrified for the first time. He roared in disbelief. Impossible! How can you have so many heaven-defying techniques? You are just an ant in the mortal world. Impossible. I have done even crazier things. Do you know? Yes, the craziest thing that Ning Fan had done was not to fight against tens of thousands of mermaids and mermen alone. It was not to kill a nascent soul at the harmonious spirit realm. It was not to sweep across the demon's sinister forest. It was to trample on the heaven court and injure an immortal emperor in his previous life as a mortal butterfly. Even though the body of a mortal butterfly was small, that obsession of his was certainly terrifying. Obsession. Die. As soon as he pointed his finger, the entire city was filled with smoke and sand. In just a short moment, Wang Shao was engulfed by the purple wind mist. To his horror, he realized that he was aging rapidly. His general armor, robes and cultivation base were all disappearing without a trace. They disappeared. He had no idea where they went, only Ning Fan knew that the things that he had lost were devoured by samsara. Humans have samsara and immortals have samsara. No matter how long you live, you will never be able to escape samsara. Wang Zhao's mind was filled with the memories of his long life. His long and tedious thoughts gradually became blurry. His white hair began to fall off. His handsome face was filled with wrinkles. Eventually, one of his arms began to rot. His other hand wanted to grab the rotting ashes. However, as soon as he exerted force, his entire body turned into ashes. His demon's soul melted and disappeared without a trace. This was the true annihilation of his body. He's dead. Wang Shao was actually killed by this young man with a single move. What exactly is this wind? For the first time, Chu Shun felt a trace of fear. The Luoyun province was silent for a moment. At the next moment, a deafening cheer was heard. General Bei is mighty. An early spirit-severing realm expert killed a late spirit-severing realm expert. Chapter 281. Clamorous cheers resounded across Luoyun. As the 7th division of the 9 divisions, Luoyun had never experienced such glory before. General Liu Bei was an early spirit-severing realm expert who killed a late spirit-severing realm expert. The might of his fingers shocked the entire city. Especially at the last moment, his persistent aura of shattering and reforming his incarnation made the hearts of the demons who were in slumber tremble. The demons of Luoyun could feel an aura from Ning Fan's body. He appeared out of nowhere and killed 6 of his generals. Once he attacks, he would not show any mercy and his sword would be stained with blood. There were no schemes, no deceit and no scheming. There was only the determination to crush his enemies with his overwhelming strength. That aura was like a sword. Before it was unsheathed, no one would know its sharpness. When Zhu Qin wanted to hurt Wan Er, the sword was unsheathed and aimed at them. Its sharpness was shocking. Fu Lang, Yu Du, and Gu Jia wanted to kill Ning Fan to gain merit. Thus, the sword killed 3 of them without any mercy. When Zhou Ting blocked its way, the sword aimed at him again. Wang Shao was the culprit. Thus, the sword was aimed at Wang Shao. During the clash with Zhou Teng and Wang Shao, Ning Fan's injuries worsened and his aura was greatly weakened. It was as if the originally sharp and unparalleled sword aura had been broken by the enemy, becoming a broken sword. His aura was already weakened. Normally, he should have fought to a draw with Wang Shao to protect himself. However, he did not. Instead, he endured Wang Zhao's terrifying demon technique which sealed his Luoyun in ice. When his opponent was exhausted, he killed him with a single finger. Even though his aura was weakened into a broken sword, he still wanted to kill. A broken sword. The sheath was broken and only the blade was left. He could not hold it tightly and kill his enemy. Even if the sword was broken and his palm was cut, he still had to hold the blade tightly and pierce it into his enemy's heart. At this moment, Ning Fan gave people the feeling that he was a broken sword stained with blood. He had lost a lot of his blood essence and was severely injured. However, his eyes were still fearless. He stood on the purple platform and swallowed the sweet blood in his throat. His fighting spirit was still burning. Wang Shao is dead. Today, I will fight for the first place. Those who are not convinced can come up to the platform and fight me. His voice echoed for a long time in the Luoyun province. However, the demons on the cloud platform gradually quieted down. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Ning Fan was already exhausted. If he were to ascend the purple platform now, perhaps even a mid-divine transformation realm expert would have a good chance of winning. But even Lu Jiefan, a late soul formation demon sealer with the power of the bestowment star, didn't dare to rashly step onto the stage. Why? Who knew if Ning Fan would surprise him again and use some heaven-defying method to kill him? Fire General, are you willing to fight with me? When Ning Fan's gaze swept across the pure flame tribe and landed on Lu Jiefan frowned. His eyes were filled with fear. There was a late spirit severing realm wild beast refined corpse in his storage pouch. With this refined corpse, he would be able to fight Wang Shao without losing. However, when Ning Fan's eyes swept across the corpse, he seemed to have intentionally released a trace of his qi. Once this aura was released, Lu Jiefan's expression immediately changed. He could feel the late-stage soul formation refined corpse in his bag of holding becoming afraid. This aura. It can't be wrong. Liu Bei had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse with him. A half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. I'm afraid that Liu Bei would be able to kill a peak divine transformation realm expert with just that refined corpse alone. When he thought of this possibility, Lu Jiefan gradually calmed down. He frowned and averted his gaze, not answering Ning Fan. His intention to avoid the battle was self-evident. If Ning Fan still had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse with him, even if Crown Prince Chu Shun and concubine Zi were exhausted, they might not be able to obtain any benefits from Ning Fan. Lu Jiefan wanted the star of the Heavenly Emperor and wanted to enter the Third World. However, he knew from the beginning that there would be many forces involved and it was impossible for him to monopolize the quota of the Third World. Since he could not monopolize it, there was no need for him to take the risk and risk his life against Ning Fan. It's unwise to risk my life for a mere world map. I will definitely get one of the 50 quotas. Why do I need to risk my life? Fire General Lu Jiefan actually doesn't dare to accept General Bei's challenge. When the members of the Luoyun demon clan saw this scene, their expressions became even more fervent. After the Fire General, Ning Fan's gaze swept across the other 7 divisions. However, since even the Fire General was avoiding the battle, who else would dare to accept the challenge? The Earth General Bai Wuzuan, in particular, felt restless when Ning Fan stared at him. His hair stood on end. Only when Ning Fan shifted his gaze away did he let out a sigh of relief. My goodness. This Liu Bei even killed Wang Shao, who had broken through to the peak divine transformation realm in a short period of time using a secret technique. How can I be his opponent? Moreover, I have quite a lot of enmity with this Liu Bei. If I go up the stage now, I will certainly be turned into ashes by him without mercy. No one accepted the challenge. After exchanging glances with each other, the late Divine Transformation Realm Lightning General and the Wind General sighed solemnly. When they were being stared at by Ning Fan, they also sensed a trace of half-step Void Refinement Realm aura force from Ning Fan's body. This young man has a half-step Void Refinement Realm refined corpse with him. If that's the case, who in the second world can compete with him? The two of them smiled bitterly and sighed. After pondering for a while, they took out the world map of their headquarters and sent it to the purple platform with a flick of their fingers. Then, they took a step forward and cupped their fists at Ning Fan from afar. That finger attack of yours is extremely powerful. We can't withstand it. We admit defeat. With your strength, you can be the first in the arena battle. With that hidden item of yours, you can be invincible in the land of slumber. Of course, I will hand over the world map to you for safekeeping. Ning Fan took a light breath and smiled faintly. Even though his inner chi was still in a mess, it had already calmed down. He bent his palm and pointed at it. 2 rays of light turned into 2 pieces of world map breaking map and fell on his palm. He kept them in his storage pouch and cupped his fists at the 2 generals. I admit it. Inside his storage pouch, there was still a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse that the Black Dragon refined. It was the reason why he dared to continue challenging the generals. He deliberately released the chi of the refined corpse to deter the generals. Not only did it frighten Lu Jiefan, who was eager to make a move, but he also obtained 2 pieces of the world map from the Lightning General and the Wind General. Now, he had 4 pieces of the world map with him. If one only knows how to pretend to be a pig to eat the tiger and keep hiding his trump cards, it would sometimes make the enemy look down on him too much. Then, he would have to face all the troubles that he could avoid. Showing his trump cards appropriately to deter the enemy was undoubtedly another brilliant way to use his trump cards. His gaze swept across the demon crown Prince Chu Shun and he suddenly grinned. He patted his storage pouch and made a shocking move. He flicked his finger and passed the 3 pieces of the world map to Ning Fan. His expression was calm and unruffled. Wang Xiao has lost. No spirit-severing realm cultivators of the pure fire tribe can defeat you. Since you have this item, it will be difficult for me to defeat you. I will leave the world map with you for now. Ning Fan received the 3 pieces of the world map and his eyes turned solemn. He had only used the chi of the refined corpse to deter Lu Jiefan and the other 2 generals. He did not show it to Chu Shun, but the latter could see through him. This person's eyes were sharp and he seemed to know that he could not monopolize the 9 spots of the world map. That was why he immediately changed his mind and handed over the world map to Ning Fan. It seemed like he had given in and befriended Ning Fan. But in reality, he had pushed the conflict to the Spirit King Palace and killed him with a borrowed knife. Ning Fan already had 7 pieces of the world map. The remaining 2 pieces were in the hands of Imperial Concubine Z. Imperial Concubine Z had a domineering personality. She would never admit defeat. Thus, it was impossible for her to hand over the world map easily. Moreover, she might even risk everything to fight Ning Fan to snatch the 7 pieces of the world map from him. As expected, after Chu Shun handed over the world map, Imperial Concubine Z stood up. Her eyes were cold and arrogant. You don't deserve to have the world map. It's because you aren't a human. As soon as Imperial Concubine Z said those words, the Luo Yun sect fell into dead silence. Then, an uproar broke out. Imperial Concubine Z, watch your words. General Bei is the pillar of our Luo Yun sect. How can he not be a demon? That's right. General Bei has awakened his blood for the 2nd time. Moreover, he possesses the true spirit blood of the royal clan. Everyone in the world knows about this. Humph. So what if he's a demon from the upper world? If he wants General Bei's world map, he should challenge him on the purple platform. The winner will get the map. There's no need to slander him. Most of the commotion in the surroundings was to defend Ning Fan. He was not afraid of being exposed in front of everyone because his identity had already been awakened. Even if the people of the Pure Flame tribe were to spread the news of the Demon Sealing Palace to everyone, who would believe that Ning Fan was a human? Ning Fan's expression was calm. Moreover, many of them had already found out that Ning Fan was not Liu Bei. Even a few of Liu Bei's friends in the past could tell that Ning Fan was not Liu Bei. However, their strength was low. None of them dared to spread the news. It did not matter whether he was Liu Bei or not. If Lu Daochen said so, then the Luoyun 7 generals said so. It was not difficult to determine whether he was a demon or not. If he was not a demon, could he still be a human? The human race did not understand the ancient demon worship, so how could they enter the second realm of the land of slumber? Although humans had cultivated demonic power and activated their demonic blood, since ancient times until now, which human could awaken the royal blood of the demonic race? Concubine Zi's words were the truth, but no one would believe it. Demon concubine Wu Yan let out a faint sigh. She also knew that Ning Fan was not a true demon. However, there was no other way. Unless he admits it himself, no one would believe him at all. Therefore, Wu Yan had never told anyone about this. Lu Wanner gently patted her chest and heaved a sigh of relief. She was afraid that Ning Fan's identity would be exposed. In this land of slumber, if people knew that he was from a foreign race, he would probably be hunted down by countless demon races. If Imperial Concubine Z is dissatisfied with me, please say it clearly. Such slander is really beneath your status. Seeing Ning Fan's smile, Imperial Concubine Z's face turned even colder. Humph. Consider it my slip of the tongue. However, if you want the map of my Spirit King Palace, you have to follow the rules of the battle. There are still 2 late demon concubines in my Spirit King Palace who have yet to participate in the battle. Wu Yan, take this opportunity to kill him while he is severely injured. Me? Wu Yan's enchanting eyes were filled with hesitation and struggle at the moment. When she saw Lu Wanner's pleading eyes, she looked at the figure of the young man who was standing on the purple platform with his hands clasped behind his back. When she recalled the scenes in the scripture tower, her heart suddenly felt suffocated. Imperial Concubine Z, Wu Yan, is not a match for him. How dare you disobey my order? Concubine Z's phoenix eyes turned grim. She had exposed Ning Fan's identity but was denied by the 100,000 demons who thought that she was slandering Ning Fan. This matter had already greatly damaged her reputation. After she forcefully ordered Wu Yan to fight, Wu Yan actually avoided the battle. How could Concubine Z tolerate this? She slapped Wu Yan's pretty face. Wu Yan could dodge the slap but she did not dare to. She did not even dare to use her demon power to block the slap. The slap left a red palm print on Wu Yan's pretty face. Demon Concubine Wu Yan. If you disobey my order, you should understand the consequences. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Wu Yan's eyes darkened and she lowered her head. The arrogance she had when she first met Ning Fan was nowhere to be seen. In front of Concubine Z, she did not have the right to be arrogant, let alone disobey orders. When I return to the Spirit King Palace this time, Wu Yan is willing to be imprisoned in the cold palace for 100 years, using 100 years of imprisonment in exchange for Wanner's lover's life. That's good enough, Sister Wu Yan. Lu Wanner was angry that Wu Yan was slapped. She ignored her injuries and wanted to rush towards Concubine Z. However, her brother Lu Sheng took a step forward and blocked her way. She is the Spirit King's beloved concubine of the upper world. You must not act rashly. Beloved concubine. However, being able to meet the Spirit King and be favored by him was a supreme honor. With this honor, even the old ancestors of the true spirit race who were feared by the heavenly demons would not dare to touch Concubine Z easily. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Wu Yan was slapped because of him. Concubine Shi, you go. Concubine Z pointed at a little girl in yellow robes behind her. She had a petite figure and a tender appearance. However, her chi was at the late divine transformation realm. Unfortunately, this concubine Shi was good at everything except for her bewitching technique. She took a step forward and was about to obey the order to fight Ning Fan. However, when Ning Fan glanced at her from afar, her face immediately flushed and her delicate body heated up. Charm. Bewitching technique. This person's bewitching technique is terrifying. Shi Ran is not his match. You, Concubine Z's expression was filled with disappointment. She really wished that she could go up to the purple platform and teach Ning Fan a lesson. Unfortunately, she was the one who suggested that peak divine transformation realm cultivators were not allowed to participate in the battle. Moreover, she did not know that Ning Fan still had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. Even without using the bewitching technique, if Concubine Z dares to go up the platform and bully the weak, Ning Fan would dare to summon the refined corpse on the spot and kidnap her. Concubine Z's eyes were filled with anger. However, there was nothing she could do. After a long while, she let out a soft snort and took out 2 world maps. With a flick of her finger, she gave them to Ning Fan. Liu Bei, just you wait for me. All right. Tonight, I will definitely take a bath and change my clothes. Then, I will wait for Concubine Z's arrival on my bed. You. Humph. Concubine Z's killing intent flashed. She turned around and left. This man is really bold. He actually interpreted my threat as a teasing remark. Forget it. After I enter the third world, I will have plenty of chances to kill this man. However, before she left, she gave Wu Yan a cold glance with a warning look. I will remember what you said. When I return to the Spirit King Palace, I will ask the Spirit King to grant you 10,000 years of house arrest. 10,000 years. Wu Yan smiled sadly but did not refute. Looking at the overbearing Concubine Z, Ning Fan's eyes darkened. Including Concubine Z, the 11 demon concubines would definitely become his cauldrons. In this way, he could also help Concubine Wu Yan vent her anger. The place to capture the beauty was not suitable to be in the outside world. Why don't I do it in the Star Palace of the Third World? Now that he had obtained all 9 world maps, there was no need to discuss about the first place in the arena battle. Next, other than himself, the battles of the other 49 people were no longer under Ning Fan's concern. Moreover, he could not open the passage of the world with just the world map. The opening of the passage of the world would require a large-scale ancient demon sacrifice. Just the preparation of the formation and sacrificial offerings would require a lot of time. Number 1 in the Luoyun sect, Ning Fan kept the world map and closed his eyes. The cheers around him were like tidal waves. However, it was difficult for him to feel excited. So what if I'm the first place? The first place in the Luoyun sect is not enough. It won't be long before I become the strongest person in the Rain world. He crushed the purple platform with a single step. With a stretch of his palm, 56 traces of purple chi condensed into purple crystals and were kept into his storage pouch. Each of the purple crystals was comparable to a blood awakening pill. Amidst the cheers, Ning Fan descended from the cloud platform. Immediately, the demons on the platform split into 2 groups. None of them dared to block his way. Step by step, he approached Lu Wanner and gently touched her cheek. I've helped you vent your anger, but you're injured. Lu Wanner's eyes were filled with heartache. As if she had thought of something, she turned her head away and stared at the disappearing figures of Wu Yan and the other demon concubines. Suddenly, she stood on her tiptoes and whispered into Ning Fan's ear with her fragrant lips. Can I beg you for one thing? Do we still need to say the word beg? Ning Fan felt that his ear was itchy and he could feel Lu Wanner's breath. I'm afraid that you'll be put in a difficult position. Can you think of a way to prevent Sister Wu Yan from being imprisoned by that detestable concubine Z for 10,000 years? I heard from my master that the imprisonment in the Spirit King Palace is very scary. Lu Wanner's face was filled with shame. She thought that the reason why Wu Yan disobeyed her order and did not kill Ning Fan was because of her previous pleading. I've already thought of a way. I'm afraid that Concubine Z won't be able to return to the Spirit King Palace safely. Let alone complain to the Spirit King. What? Don't tell me you want to. Lu Wanner did not dare to say, you want to kill her. Killing a demon concubine who was the Spirit King's favorite concubine was just too audacious. No. It would be a waste to kill such a good human cauldron. I'm such a coward. I'm afraid of killing people the most. Ning Fan purposely made a harmless smile which made Lu Wanner chuckle. Her mood became slightly better. In Ning Fan's mind, a plan to capture the beauty of the Star Palace had already begun to form. As for that demon concubine Wu Yan, it seems like I should comfort her. I wonder if she feels very sad after being humiliated in public. What a pitiful woman. Chapter 282. Within a month, the remaining 49 spots were decided among the 100 soul formation cultivators. Demon concubine Wu Yan was second, Lu Jiefan was third, and the rest were unknown. In just 1 month, Luo Yunlu's terrifying battle record of stepping on the purple platform and killing 6 generals had spread across billions of miles of the second realm with the help of various secret communication techniques. No one blamed Ning Fan for the deaths of Wang Xiao and the others. After all, they had to follow the demon ancestors' instructions in the arena battles. From the moment they step onto the purple platform, their life and death were already determined by the heavens. Of course, the true spirit clan would not let Ning Fan go. However, that was something that would happen after Ning Fan ascends to the demon spirit land. It was not something that the demons of the second world would care about. The only thing they were concerned about was, the Luoyun tribe had Liu Bei. From now on, they must not offend him. South of the Luoyun tribe, at the border with the Fengyun tribe, they started to search for demonic beasts and sacrificial offerings. For the opening of the world passage to the third realm this time, the 9 divisions had spared no effort in hunting down demonic beasts. At least 500,000 beasts above the Golden Core realm had to be sacrificed, and at least 1% of them had to be beast kings. Preparing for the ancient demon sacrificial ceremony this time was not as easy as opening the world passage to the second realm. The materials needed to carve the array consumed at least 1/5 of each tribe's financial resources. All of these were not things that Ning Fan needed to worry about. During this month, he stayed in his room, accompanying Lu Wanner in healing her wounds. The northern general's residence was heavily guarded by countless experts. Ning Fan and Wan Er were sitting cross-legged on the soft couch in the room of the gazing river tower with their eyes closed. Their palms were touching each other. Under the situation where Ning Fan was the master, they were circulating their magic power. Using a woman's yin qi to replenish his yang qi and a man's yang qi to replenish his yin qi. With the balance of yin and yang, the healing speed of this technique was naturally extraordinary. However, Ning Fan could only reluctantly use this technique after he advanced to the divine transformation realm. He could then accompany Lu Wan Er to heal her injuries with his own strength. During the past 1 month, the injuries that Lu Wan Er suffered from forcefully activating her phoenix wings had already healed. Moreover, her demonic power had improved significantly after cultivating together with Ning Fan. As for Ning Fan, most of his injuries had been healed. Unfortunately, he had lost some of his blood essence, which was difficult to replenish. Therefore, his face was still pale and bloodless. Sensing the strong manly scent on Ning Fan's bed and the warmth of their palms touching each other, Lu Wan Er's cheeks flushed and her heart raced. This was the first time she sat on a man's bed. The meaning of this was self-evident. Those in the know knew that the two of them stayed in seclusion for a month to recuperate. Those who did not know would think that the two of them had been in the room for a month. As a result, Ning Fan's reputation as a playboy spread further and further in the Luoyun province along with his rising fame and prestige. When he was cultivating, his expression was extremely serious and meticulous. There was not a single trace of his usual casual expression. His attentive expression made Lu Wanner secretly blame him for being insensitive. Everyone in the world knows that I, Lu Wanner, am your woman. If you don't marry me, what should I do? Come to think of it, my bone age is 900 years old and he is less than 400 years old. I am so much older than him. In the world of cultivation, age was like floating clouds. There were some Dao companions whose cultivations were similar, yet their skeletal ages differed greatly. This was naturally due to their natural endowments. Perhaps only a silly girl like Lu Wanner would consider the issue of age. Otherwise, there was no need for Ning Fan to marry a wife. Other than Jihe, there seemed to be no one younger than him. Ning Fan gently exhaled and his demon power returned to his body. Then, he slowly opened his eyes. My injuries are almost healed. Wang Xiao is the strongest opponent that I have defeated with my own strength. However, I didn't expect that I would suffer such serious injuries in order to kill him. If it wasn't for my incarnation technique, I probably wouldn't be able to withstand that demon technique that froze the Luoyun sect. Ning Fan laughed at himself. He clearly knew that his demon power could only put up a fight against a late Divine Transformation Realm cultivator at most after attaining the Divine Transformation Realm. In order to kill a late Divine Transformation Realm cultivator, he would certainly have to pay a huge price, such as injuring himself. Unexpectedly, his self-mockery caused Lu Wanner to roll her eyes at him in annoyance. What do you think? You have just attained the Divine Transformation Realm and you already risked your life against that Wang Xiao. It's already not easy for you to exchange for his life at the cost of sustaining serious injuries, alright? Do you know how nervous I was when Wang Xiao froze the Luoyun sect and I saw you dissipating in the demonic technique? I was so scared that you would die. That's right, I'm so scared. Lu Wanner's shoulders trembled slightly. At that time, even though she gritted her teeth and claimed that Ning Fan was not dead, she was actually very nervous. Who asked that Wang Xiao to harm you? I don't dare to let him go, don't dare. Outsiders only saw Ning Fan's glory but they did not know that he also had his own fears. He did not dare to put his woman in danger. Ning Fan did not know whether Wang Xiao would order the next Zhu Qin to harm Lu Wanner if he lets Wang Xiao go this time. Most of the time, a person's courage came from the word, don't dare. The reason why the butterfly dared to go against an immortal emperor was not because of its courage but because it had a true love behind its back. Lu Wanner's heart trembled. At this moment, she suddenly felt that Ning Fan was just an ordinary person. He was not as high and mighty as she had imagined him to be. Like an elder sister looking at her beloved younger brother, Lu Wanner raised her fair arms and gently held Ning Fan's neck. Her eyes were filled with deep affection. Don't be afraid. I will be fine. Ning Fan, tell me your story, alright. From Ning Fan's eyes, Lu Wanner could see too much exhaustion and loneliness. This determined man must have a lot of stories behind him, do you want to hear it? I want to truly understand you. Lu Wanner's expression was unusually serious. She gently leaned forward and shrunk into Ning Fan's arms. Her soft chest pressed against Ning Fan's thin but firm chest. She was shy and bold. The demon race was not bound by etiquette. Love was love. The current Lu Wanner was not the #1 spirit augmentation master in Luoyun but a little fox whose heart had been moved. Tell me everything about you. Let me see your true appearance. Her eyes gradually became blurry. The appearance that Ning Fan had transformed into, Liu Bei, gave her an increasingly unfamiliar feeling. She did not want to see Liu Bei. She wanted to see the real Ning Fan. Appearance, Ning Fan flicked his sleeves and his appearance changed rapidly. His body did not change much. He was still thin and weak but his face became more handsome and angular. However, his true appearance was much younger, thinner and more scholarly than what Lu Wanner had imagined. You're so young. If I walk with you, others will say that you're my younger brother. Lu Wanner gently turned her head away. Her face blushed. It was her first time seeing Ning Fan's true appearance but it made her heart beat faster. You little fox. You're quite big. Without giving her a chance to speak, Ning Fan directly pulled her into his embrace. Ah! Lu Wanner let out a soft cry. Her face was filled with embarrassment. She had never experienced anything like this before. She instinctively turned around and tried to escape. Just as she was about to climb out of Ning Fan's embrace and stand up, she accidentally stepped on Ning Fan's leg and fell into his embrace with her back facing him. Facing this beauty who had delivered herself to his doorstep, Ning Fan carried a teasing smile on his face and directly hugged her in his arms. "Now, the little fox can't run away anymore, right?" "I won't run anymore. I won't run anymore. Let go of me. Your hand." Your hand, due to her injuries, Lu Wanner's clothes were already thin. Now that her back was pressed against Ning Fan's chest, she naturally felt embarrassed. As for Ning Fan, he had already regarded her as his woman. Thus, he naturally did not care. He placed his arm on Lu Wanner's chest and pressed against her two soft mounds. With a gentle press, the soft mounds sunk in. When her breasts were touched by Ning Fan's arm, Lu Wanner felt that her entire body had lost all of its strength as if she was about to melt into Ning Fan's embrace. Originally, she was not bound by the rules of etiquette. In the beginning, it was just out of a woman's shyness. However, she did not feel disgusted by Ning Fan's touch. She gently lowered her head, allowing her black hair to cover her blurred eyes. However, she no longer resisted and allowed Ning Fan to hold her in such an ambiguous position. One had to admit that Lu Wanner's childish face and large breasts were definitely a fatal temptation to men. Moreover, as a member of the Fox clan, she was born with a natural charm. At first, Ning Fan was just teasing her. However, when he touched her soft mounds, he immediately felt a reaction from his little Ning Fan. Thus, Lu Wanner's soft and perky buttocks were inadvertently poked by something through her thin clothes. If she was a human girl, her face would probably turn red with embarrassment. However, Lu Wanner was indeed a member of the demon race. Her blurred eyes carried a hint of shyness, but she also felt content with the atmosphere. This is a good thing. It means that my lover has fallen in love with me. In his eyes, I'm still very attractive. No wonder so many sisters of the Fox clan are willing to fall in love with mortals. It turns out that falling in love is such a wonderful feeling. While Lu Wanner's mind was in a state of confusion, she suddenly let out a soft moan. It turned out that Ning Fan's hand had slipped into her thin shirt as if he was playing tricks on her. Then, he gently caressed her plump and tender breasts. "Little fox, didn't you say that you are bigger than me just now? Now, let me take a closer look and see how much bigger you are compared to me. I'm talking about bone age. Not this." It was as if something was expanding and flowing inside her body, making her feel numb and mesmerized. Originally, she wanted to listen to Ning Fan talk about the past. However, she did not expect to end up in such an ambiguous situation. Lu Wanner's breasts were squeezed into any shape through the cloth. Traces of electric currents flowed through her body. Her breathing gradually quickened and carried the fragrance of orchids. She felt as if she was intoxicated. Between her thighs, there was gradually something slippery. Her cheeks were as hot as blood. Above her perky buttocks, four snow-white and soft fox tails slowly popped out from under her clothes. People said that fox demons were easily aroused. Once they were aroused, they would easily show their demonic appearance. From the looks of it, it was true. One of Ning Fan's hands was rubbing Foxy's breasts while the other hand was stroking her fox tail. The hot fox tail seemed to be congested with blood. At the moment when Ning Fan touched it, Lu Wanner seemed to be greatly stimulated. She bit her lips tightly. However, a comfortable feeling that filled her entire body made her unable to endure it and let out a soft moan. "Don't touch. Don't. Here is, The fox tail of a female fox is actually so sensitive." Ning Fan's fingers stroked the fox tail rhythmically. As for Lu Wanner, the stimulation became more and more intense. She lifted her messy hair and looked at Ning Fan in a daze. Her red lips were as red as blood and glittered with crystal-clear saliva as if she was yearning for a kiss. Ning Fan sensibly kissed Lu Wanner's lips. From her soft lips, he could feel a different kind of sweetness. Lu Wanner felt as if she was suffocating when her cherry lips were blocked by Ning Fan. At the same time, she felt as if she was ascending to the clouds. Ning Fan's hand that was stroking the fox tail slid to her thighs through her thin shirt. His fingers were wet. At this moment, Lu Wanner's delicate body trembled violently. More moisture seeped through her thin shirt and stained Ning Fan's fingers. Her eyes were filled with shyness and affection. Under Ning Fan's touch, it actually reached its peak. There was a hint of reproach. She blamed Ning Fan for making her lose her composure like this. Girls of the fox race are really what? Really shameless, aren't you? Lu Wanner was slightly nervous. No. It's really too tempting, don't be so glib-tongued. You haven't even told me your story and you're already teasing me. Lu Wanner's cheeks were still flushed and she rolled her eyes at Ning Fan. However, she also understood that Ning Fan's action of caressing her could be considered as her charm being too successful. This meant that she was very charming in his eyes. I want to hear your story. Yes, I'll tell you now. It was in the human race's reigned celestial realm, a mid-rank cultivation country called the Country of Wu. There, a 3-year-old child was accepted into the Ning family of Hai Ning. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.